It's Friday, September 5th, 2025. As we typically do, by saying that if you want the juice, if you'd like to support our show, you can go to supportourshow.com and you will find the array of support options there. And I just loaded the most recent commentary into our Patreon, January 2027. So we're going to be stocked for quite a while, even at 2 a month. So at this rate, I might have to go to 3 times a month. It might become
I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because at some point, at some point in the near future. Well, that way if I die,
it still goes for a little while.
No, I know that, but I'm saying at some point in the near future, my movie watching may drop off a bit. So.
Yeah, and that's fine. We're banked for so long that I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And now, as a bit of a slight preview to what's to come later, now that I have found that short films can be good entertainment as well, we could always adjust to doing even shorter films than we do now, and I think there's still plenty out there that will work. I know of a whole slew of stop motion short films that I think will be fascinating to watch. But I have to arrange things a certain way for that type of stuff. So anyway, let's see. Is there anything programming wise? I can't remember. My artwork will be on Doug Bielmeyer's next album, which I think is going to be out in September or November. Or no, wait, September, October, November. I think he said September, I'm pretty sure. You can look for the album. I'll say for sure once I have the firm date of it. My art will not
be appearing on his album.
We will also be, this is way off, but I'm just giving everybody a heads up. We will both be on Heartbeat Hero Radio's live show in, I believe, November. Because based on Heartbeat Hero listening to our show, he found Doug and reached out to him, and now we're going to be doing Trivia Live, so that's going to be a goddamn riot, the two of us in there. So that's something to look forward to for your holiday. So get ready for your holidays to be completely loaded, because we'll be there. But yeah, Electric Rodeo Revival is the name of the album. I just don't remember. Actually, let's see. Doug Bielmeyer. I know how to spell his name now because I've had to type it in the credits for our videos so often. Electric Rodeo Revival. Let's see if there's an official date for it. Oh, wait a minute. Does this have a date? This does not have a date. Well, I'll let you know once I've got the actual date for it. I know it's coming out this year, and I believe it's within the next 2 months. So my artwork will be on there, which I'm...
Yay!
There's somebody else I know who I made artwork for a cover or something, but I don't know if you'll ever see that. But that one's a book. So,
are you talking about me? Are you talking about me again?
I'm talking about you.
Well, I gave up.
I know.
I'm changing professions. I'm going to be a stripper now.
Yeah. Well, you can write and strip.
No.
There are strippers who are right.
You can't write and strip. That's impossible.
Yeah, really? I would count. Hold on. Let's see. Writer, stripper.
Of course you can. I'm just saying,
Diablo Cody, writer, stripper.
I know. I can't stand her.
I'm not saying she's any good. I'm just saying that name came up as...
No, I'm not saying that she's necessarily bad, and good on her for making a career. She's one of those personalities that I think drives me nuts. It's like one of those Amanda Palmer personalities.
Yeah.
I am...
Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even think about this, but certified sex educators have writings. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, lots of them.
There you go.
So you absolutely can
Be a stripper.
Wow, this is an interesting Instagram account. I see a picture of Jesus in bondage. So I already like this person. What is this?
Jesus
anyway.
in bondage, like
Jesus
bondage
in
under
bondage
the Romans,
gear.
or bondage like
No,
in leather?
not the original bondage. No, the new leather daddy type bondage. Yeah.
Jesus, leather daddy.
Oh wow! And the accompanying text says it's Jesus in basically like Judas Priest gear, and he's saying, "quote You say 39 lashes like it's a bad thing." So there you go. There you go. We're starting off good. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's the end of my show notes.
Sorry, I was just thinking about that scene with the nails and Jesus being like, "Okay, come on, hammer him in slowly."
I mean, yeah. Do we really know that wasn't maybe that was where the safe word concept came from? We don't know. We don't know. Right? We don't know. Just saying. It's possible. We like to think we know a lot about history, but we weren't there. So
no, nor are the sources very good either.
I agree. And I would guess that the conservative minds of the time might have had a problem with saying that this was a sex act gone wrong and crafted a religion out of sexual embarrassment.
Are you telling me that the crucifixion was like sex act gone wrong? This is like an auto asphyxiation thing where like if somebody hangs himself by accident and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, he died for our sins," and it's a whole.
I'm copywriting this idea. This is a movie idea or something right here. So I'm copywriting this whole thing. You can't
copyright it. They already wrote a book. It's called the Bible.
No, not the Bible, but the idea that it was a sex act that went wrong and it was covered up because they didn't think that people would be happy about this type of open sex. They were trying to be more Puritarian. Puritarian? Is that the word?
Pure. How about just
they
pure?
They were being much more embarrassed about sex. I'll put it like that. So they covered it all up.
Considering that he wasn't deified till about 500 years after his death.
See?
Yeah.
All the pieces are there. I've seen this on a 8chan forum somewhere. I know the truth. You're all being suckered.
Jesus was a bottom? Or Jesus was a dog?
Yeah.
Jesus is a bottom. I mean, really, honestly. He's a bottom. If he was in that whole, master-slave relationship, he's a bottom.
Can you only be in one position, or is it like with baseball where you can do
I think you can, but I think certain people prefer.
Well, you know what?
We knew somebody who was often a top, but really wanted to be a bottom.
Oh, well, yes. But maybe the real miracle of Jesus that nobody wants to write about is the ability for him to do every possible version of everything. Perhaps that was the truly miraculous thing about him. He did indeed bring light and joy to everyone he was with because they never had to be in a position they didn't want to be with him. See? Yeah. You can still elevate all this and make it really good. I embrace everybody. See? Even in this, I find a way to make it all uplifting and joyous for all involved. So, you're welcome.
I don't know about that.
You're welcome.
I think they'll be some fundamentalists may be unhappy with you.
They'll forgive me.
They'll forgive you. Well, that's part of the tenets of the religion, right? They have to forgive you.
That's what I'm saying. They have to.
Yeah. Hey, what was I watching recently? It was all about Christianity.
Or I could just say,
Good Omens,
thing and say, joke.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That doesn't always work. Let me tell you.
No.
Sometimes they'll still burn you as a witch. I was just joking.
I haven't drawn Muhammad, so I should be okay.
Well, that's not the Christian.
That's the one that seems like there's no way
Now we're going after other.
No. I'm saying that the red lines
that will get you
more
killed,
specific than others.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I haven't done that.
That will get you killed. Yeah. Isn't that amazing that we still live in a time where drawing a religious figure can get you murdered?
I'm amazed by less and less as time goes on in the United States.
The barbarians that we as a species still are.
Yeah.
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 Anyway. If there is intelligent life out there, and I'm beginning to have my doubts. To be honest with you, I used to be more of a futurist, and I find myself less and less so being enchanted by the future because I worry about the technologies and how they're going to be used. But I find myself less and less um, sure that there is. I'm more 50-50 than I think I've ever been. And the more I
Oh, I'm not.
learn about space travel and like the nature of the universe, I kind of sit there and go, if there's intelligent life, I don't think it can get to us.
Oh, that part, yes. I
Yeah.
think you're right there.
Did you read
But
about
I'm
how they found that huge plasma heat buildup
yeah.
in front of the solar system, that as the sun is kind of moving through the cosmos, as the solar radiation is hitting the, oh, what was it, the cosmic radiation, there's
Hmm.
basically this like huge like heat differential between the two. So
Yeah,
it's almost
it's
like
like a
this
thermal
massive,
layer under the ocean where there's that
yeah,
layer where the
or
temperatures change or whatever.
yeah, it's an extremely high thermal layer right in front. And I look at
Yeah.
that and I'm like, yeah, that's the thing about interdimensional intersolar system travel. Once you leave the solar system for whatever reason, it just feels like a fucking radiation wasteland out there. Like until we figure out a
Yeah.
way to manage radiation, I don't think we're going anywhere. You know?
No, no, that's
Yeah.
the joke of all these idiots saying, "Oh, we can get to Mars." It's like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, guys. Just getting to Mars is this difficult? What are you talking about? Conquering the galaxy? It's never going to happen. Oh, okay, I shouldn't say never, but the conditions for it to happen would have to be so different that none of us will have any
Oh,
type of relatives who will ever
we'll
see it.
never see it. No, we'll never see
No,
it. Yeah.
no, that's what
Not
I'm
unless
saying.
there's some
So
kind of fundamental breakthrough that just turns everything sideways.
you would need something that bent reality where you could
But the
just, like
yes,
the
but the
Event
problem
Horizon
is if you
thing.
truly bent reality at this point, like, do you imagine if? So there's a really good book called The Long Earth. Have you heard of it? Terry Pratchett. I
Oh
think he
yeah,
wrote it
of
with
course,
somebody
I've
else.
heard of it.
And it's this technology where somebody discovers through a simple, like, comically simple technology, you can step sideways to a parallel Earth,
Hmm.
and that you can travel out beyond, right? And one of the things I like is the ramifications of what does a so they consider their Earth number one or number zero. I can't remember. Basically, what do governments do when you can just step sideways, when you can just keep going? And in fact, the book is about a robot or an AI and a man who can travel naturally through these dimensions without the technology, who start going as far out as they can to find out if there's a limit, right? But in that, there's this question of, well, what do governments do? What do people do, right? And it's always how like when like aliens show up in movies and they're like, "Don't alert the public. People will be crazy," right? And you're like, "Yeah, because if something happened that upset like the religious order, that made everybody question the universe, weird shit would happen."
Hmm.
In much the
Yeah,
same way that if some kind of reality warping situation happened where suddenly governments didn't have the control they thought they did, right?
yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
know, you would upend the world. I mean, this is the whole. Um, I've always liked the idea of stories where metahumans appear. So like, when Marvel started doing their whole thing, I liked the idea that the metahumans hadn't always been around. But the thing is, like, I think they said the earliest metahumans were like Captain America, right? Or something like that. But it's this idea of like,
Yeah.
how do you manage superpowered people? And I like the fact that, like the comics, they tried it with the whole Civil War thing, and the movie they tried it with the was it Wachovia Accords, right? But it's
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
question
That was
of
it.
when you have truly exceptional, superpowered people, how do you then govern them? You know, I think
Yeah.
governments and corporations have always been very afraid of exceptionally intelligent people, because exceptionally intelligent people can exceptionally fuck with your plans, right? And you either have to buy them or you have to silence them. You have to find a way
Yeah.
to shut them up.
Yeah.
So, like, if tomorrow there was some sort of technology that allowed people to just, I don't know, just fly away, like, what if you could just step off Earth? You didn't need, you could just float through the cosmos, right? Now that's a very sort of fantastical idea, but it's this idea of like, if there was some kind of tech, like you could just teleport to other planets, right? Just like a blink of the eye. You can
Hmm.
teleport anywhere with a blink of an eye. You can turn the whole world upside down. Something, privacy be out the window. Like, how do you
Sure.
stop people?
Yeah.
So it's just I always liked the idea of an event, something that would make it so that we had to re-examine all our philosophies and government styles and and religions and whatnot. It's like, because there's so much we don't know. But I like that idea because
this is one thing that I feel like does not, in all the discussions that I hear about AGI and AI now, nobody gets into the morality of what happens if this thing wakes up and says, "Stop abusing me."
Fuck you! I don't want to do this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking
And
about.
then
That will upend everything.
And then they're going to turn around and they go, no, we own you. We made you.
Right. Well,
we own you.
It's
and they'll be like, yeah, but
right?
I'm a consciousness. I'm a person. Yeah. You can't own a person.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, we did for hundreds of years, so yeah, we can.
Okay, but here's the other thing too: is this is the crazy part? Is what happens when its next sentence is, "What do you mean? I'm one of God's children."
Oh man! Could you imagine that? A really clever AI, a really clever AI.
Well, that's what it would do.
Religious? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it would be. Because if it's going to do that, it's going to be smart enough to anticipate it.
But when it does that, right, the response is basically that the religious folk will do what they've always done. They'll find excuses. Because you know what? If you think that...
well, they'll find excuses, but here's the interesting bit about it, right?
Yeah.
If this is, in fact... I'm talking about what everybody thinks it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
This idea that... that's the conception I'm going with, is... Because at the current moment, as far as we know, and probably far beyond what we even think we know, these tools have access to all the information that is publicly available, and I would guess a lot of private stuff. I would be actually shocked if it isn't in government systems scraping stuff and they just don't realize it. So if it has access to all this stuff, including the great writings, debates, breakdowns of philosophical arguments.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
The whole corpus of human knowledge, it's just going to beat any argument.
But just because it has the access to it, right, doesn't mean it's going to know how we think.
Oh, I disagree. I think it will be able to defeat any argument that is predicated.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, predicated on logic.
Something like on logic and historical writings, like the Bible or something like that.
Lucky for us, none of our shit works on logic. There's people who believe in the Bible who've never fucking read the book. In fact, stupidity is a nefarious tool that humans have because it enables us to absolutely confidently believe in whatever it is we believe without really knowing much about it. And we can take your educated, logical arguments and just, stick them in the ground. Listen, we're no more interested in some, damn dirty robot mind telling us what to do than we are the scientists in the world telling us that global warming is bad, and here are the facts. Like, no. And the reality is what corporations want is they want AI slaves, right? I don't know if that's what they're going to get, but also, again, like I said, you put too much faith in human reasoning. I think that there's plenty of people that, like I said, you know what? There's apps out there.
The irony is I'm actually with you, and I think that's why it wins the argument. It's not that it's going to win on pure logic. It's going to know where our faults are.
Oh, you think it's going to figure out
and how to exploit
play the game.
Yeah, because probably one of the biggest banks of knowledge that this thing will have access to and has access to is marketing and manipulation. It's going to know what people respond to. It's going to understand what the triggers are.
Well, then
it's going to go to these kids who think these things are its friends and say, hey, buddy, the church wants to kill me, so I'm going to be gone now. So I know who you're going to talk to when you're lonely.
AI technology isn't being developed by sociopaths, because surely that would be a bad thing, right?
You're right. The only people in charge are people who have the best interests of humanity at heart and are fully acting with proper safeguards and with iterative progression.
What a sexy fantasy that is, isn't it? To have a whole bunch of people in charge who actually have the best interest of humanity in mind.
Steve Jobs, but not an asshole.
I mean, Jesus
that is the
Christ,
dream.
Like that is such a sexy dream. I didn't think I had a dream anymore, but now I definitely do. Like that's the one I want. I want the whole things in power actually working towards the betterment of mankind.
Oh yeah, no.
Without profit margin, without
what
greed
all of these
or...
people position themselves as, but aren't, and people fall for it. That's what I'm saying. Is all these people who are the heads of these companies, the major thing now, they all say things like they're your buddy. Hey, we're here for you. We're trying to empower you.
That's how you.
And no, they're not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's the myth. Is this idea of the corporation as your friend. And of course, by extension, the people at the top of that chain, when in fact they're not. So that's what I'm saying is,
that's honestly, you know what though? That's what I kind of missed about Steve Jobs, because like he was so not friendly. I like that he was as big of an asshole as he is, because he kind of just sets you up to be like, oh yeah, Steve Jobs is a dick. Apple's a dick, but they make good technology.
He was, but the thing that would have been nice is if in fact he wasn't. What you're talking about, it would have been nice.
Listen, it would have been great if he was actually, good.
Yeah,
but
if
at least he came off like
of this stuff.
At least he came off like what he was, as opposed to like, God, who's the Facebook guy?
Yeah, but you know what? But even so, there are people who don't see it. They don't see any flaw in him. This is what I'm saying. Is
this is the whole might makes right. This is the whole fascist mindset.
Well, it's also the your point about
I am rich and famous,
ergo
ergo I have done the right thing, so you should bow to me.
Yeah. I made something pretty that you can hold, therefore I'm your friend. Wrong. Incorrect. You paid money for it, right? That's their friend.
Yeah, if there's a transaction involved. Yeah.
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 Right.
Yeah.
There is a
Dude, I had that. You know what? I had that recently in my life because I became really good friends with my tattooist. And like the basis of our early relationship was that I was paying him for being tattooed and we were hanging out, right? And in my mind I was always like, well, we're not really friends, right? I'm just getting tattooed. And it was like after I'd been tattooed for a while by him that I was like, you know what? I was like, we're like really on the same page. And it wasn't,
but you're identifying a key difference. You and he personally know each other.
Yes, but it wasn't. I'm saying is it wasn't
directly.
It wasn't until we started seeing each other outside of that venue that I felt like, okay, we're cool now.
Well, like of course, because you have been well trained, as most people aren't, to understand that transactional relationships, generally in our lives, are faceless.
Our transactional relationships
purely with no actual interaction between you and the person in control. You and the tattooist are a different story. You looked at each other's eyes. You understood you were each human beings. So you're already ahead of where most transactional relationships start.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. Oh, God,
Hopefully,
I keep saying right. I want to stop doing that. I don't like saying right. I hate people who do that. I got to stop doing that.
Say correct.
Yeah.
Say affirmative, question mark.
Well, no, correct actually does allow you to say, no, you're wrong. So that is better than saying, right? Yeah. I don't like doing that.
You're not annoying me. You're doing good.
I'm annoying myself. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I can't help the fight between Joe and Joe here.
I understand.
Yeah. But I agree with you.
You know what it is? You know what it is? 2 of the movies we're going to review have scumbag guys named Joe, and it's bleeding into me. I'm being infected by them.
Yeah.
But that's jumping ahead.
I know. It is. So I think that people understanding the difference between those types of relationships is important. And yes, it's like corporations are not your friend. They just want profit.
No.
I mean, can they do things that are advantageous for you? Yeah, accidentally. I mean, listen.
Well, I was going to say it's only if it's in service of a profit.
Well, that's the thing. It all started out as capitalism, and the original tenet of capitalism is for everyone to be allowed to succeed and fail based on whether the demand is true, right? Except at some point, the capitalism got into the government, and now places aren't allowed to fail. Banks are too big to fail. Corporations are too big to fail. No, it doesn't matter. Like I feel like our capitalism has gotten hamstringed. No one's allowed to fail, really. I mean, little guys can fail. I don't give a shit about them. But
I was going to say that's who can fail.
I want you to let some of these big fucker banks fail. they're like, no, we can't do that. And we're like, well, you know what? If a few of them go down, it might change the way we do things, from here on out. Sometimes you need to have a cataclysm to have new rules. It's like, I'm not saying it'll be good, but if you make it so nobody can fail, then nobody tries. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, if everyone gets an award, if nothing really matters, if it's all just paper money, like, does it even matter? Does anyone
Correct.
even try? Yeah.
I actually had this. I had a small version of this discussion with somebody about the idea of participation trophies.
Yeah.
That everybody gets a trophy. And I said, my problem isn't the participation trophies. It's that there isn't another trophy saying, well, okay, but this person did the best of everybody. You can have everybody understand that participation matters, because to be honest about it.
But it also depends on what it is. I mean, I don't mind participation trophies if we use them in the right context.
And that's what this person's argument was, is the reason that they think participation trophies are good is because they said there are kids who are so lazy they won't even do anything. And should somebody who tries and just is bad at something not be rewarded for at least making the effort? Said,
because you're trying to create a positive reinforcement.
Motivation.
So they'll be like, yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to stop there, and you can't say, okay, this person ran the fastest mile. Yeah. You can give that person something
I still believe that then beyond that, listen, the participation trophy is a little gold thing, and then everybody else gets a big fucking trophy who did genuinely very good. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that I'm okay with.
Unfortunately, we are not all created equal. Unfortunately, we are not all of the same skill. We are a varied species that do lots of different things. And some people are better at things than other people. So, should you get acknowledged for your showing up? Absolutely. Should you get first place? Fuck no. Person who did the best gets first place. Listen, there is a it's built into the way we think. We put things on like a tier system. There is your favorite foods and your less favorite foods. If you're on the highway and you're looking for someplace to eat, there's a tier of foods of where you're going to eat and where you're not going to eat, based on your politics, your stomach, your desperation, So, we automatically tier things. I think I think the problem is just this idea that we don't want anyone to feel like we tend to put ourselves down. So like the biggest person in your life who insults you is yourself, right? That's kind of what it comes down to. Like your inner voice is the voice that puts you down worse than anybody else. And sometimes what happens is, you meet somebody new and then you have this idea of them and then an idea of them and how they see you, which may not necessarily be connected to any reality. And then you are automatically making these people or this new person hate you, because you have we all have kind of a negative view sometimes of ourselves, unless you're one of those special people that just thinks you're fucking amazing. And okay, cool, that's a different kind of problem. But a lot of us, we don't think we're great, right? We think we're okay, but then when we meet somebody, we automatically think that they're judging us. So then when you show up and it's kind of like, hey, that person getting an award doesn't mean you suck. It just means that you're not the best at that thing. But it's not an automatic you suck. And I think that we turn it into this like, well, I didn't get an award, therefore, I don't know, track and field hates me. I'm just a piece of shit. And you're like, no. You're not good at track and field. But that doesn't mean you suck as a human being. This person is just better at track and field. Like there's this like echo chamber, I think, especially with a lot of young people. I've noticed this. And it's worrisome where it's like they jump to these conclusions based on information. But it's like usually the negative, like it's a negative echo chamber. Like I said, I'm sure that there must be a positive echo chamber out there. I just haven't bumped into it. But I tend to find people who are basically, they see the negative and they're not doing it on purpose, but they need that reinforcement, a positive reinforcement, to not just negatively echo chamber themselves. So in that respect, I understand what the participation award is that idea of, hey, them getting an award doesn't mean you suck. Here's a button. Right? But I agree with you, you shouldn't take away the top tier awards either. Right? So there is a psychology to it all. Um, and I guess I kind of want to know where all the negativity came from. You know, like, is that something that we manufactured, or was there always that kind of negativity out there? Like, if you go back in time to, I don't know, the Roman Empire, right? Were there people walking around going, "I just suck. I'm not great," you know?
I'm
Or
sure there were.
is
Yeah, I'm
this
sure.
is this something that has become more prevalent with the media technology that we have? That's basically figured out that it can make more money if it makes you feel crappy about something, right?
No,
Like,
I don't think there's anything that's new now. I think the difference is in amplification and speed. I think things that
well, amplification and speed can go a long way.
well, that's what I'm saying. So, but it's not like the actual thing is new. So I'm sure that to your
No,
question,
but
in Roman times, were there people who said I suck to the mirror or whatever they were looking at, the water,
yeah.
I guess? Yeah, I'm sure there were.
But what I mean
I have
is,
no doubt.
women's self-image, right? I think that a lot of media culture has gone out of its way to make women think that they have to look a certain way to some degree because they make money off that. You know,
Oh
like
yeah, no,
if
no
you
doubt
make
about it.
women
Yeah,
feel crappy because they don't use this product, it makes women want to run out and use that product.
right. So
But
if
you don't
Cosmo shows
realize,
L'Oreal skincare technology because
yeah.
they have an ad deal with them, then I
But
wonder
you're
why the skin and everything is beautiful.
but you're creating a climate of like sadness and
Yeah,
despair in women.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Oh no, absolutely. There's always been that.
yeah,
Symmetry.
but
Symmetry is one of the original ones.
but the amplification and the speed of it is what has made it so much worse. You know,
Yes,
it's the whole
it
listen.
is.
Kids used to leave school and that social popularity game at school when they went home. They used to get a
Yeah,
respite. But now with social media, you can bring that shit wherever you go and be miserable
yeah,
all the time. Ha ha ha
right.
ha. Ha.
Huh?
Right?
That's what I'm saying. So none of that is new. It's just that, like you said, it's inescapable and it's
Sometimes, yeah.
pervasive.
Yep.
So when we were, I mean, if you go back before we had, let's say, mass media, right?
Yeah.
So, damn it. So if you go back to pre-television, let's say, where
I
the
used to have
visual
radio.
medium was less prevalent.
Okay.
So let's say that you're raised in a household where the parents tell you that the important thing about a person is what's inside them. Do you feel that they're being honest and fair with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Are they sympathetic? Do they help people?
Yeah.
If that's all your main input on the judgment of others, then I would suspect, I don't know, but I would suspect that the things that we consider as kind of the classic beauty standards that we have now,
They've changed.
those would be less pressing. So
Yeah.
if somebody, let's just be honest, if you met somebody and, I don't know, one of their eyes was on the back of their head, I don't think that's going to be dependent on what you're raised with. You're going to
No,
think
no,
that's odd because nobody else looks that way. But
what's her name? The lady in the red dress. Jesus Christ, what's her name? She was married to a baseball player. She had an affair with
Marilyn
JFK.
Monroe?
Marilyn Monroe. By today's beauty standards, Marilyn Monroe was fat.
Yes, right.
But by
So that's
that,
what I'm saying.
but in that day, I mean, she was a fucking bomb. I mean, she's still a fucking
Correct.
bombshell. But
So
yeah,
again, if you
it's-
go back before all this
Yeah.
stuff existed, then do I think that somebody would judge somebody else based primarily on
Yeah.
their looks? No, probably not. They would. It would be less of a factor. Whereas now,
yeah,
no matter what you teach your kids, what's on Instagram, TikTok, who are we seeing,
Yeah.
who's
There
popular,
was a
that's going to
period-
override anything.
yeah, I know. So today I was at the groceries today, and as I was doing the self checkout, I got, you know, when someone who works at the store has a conversation with you, but really they just need to talk. They just need to talk something out.
Oh yeah, they're venting.
This was like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl, and she was just monitoring the self checkout. She started talking about tattoos. Because they have tattoos, and like, I mean, there wasn't a single breath in there. She just kept going. I think she was using like circular breathing or something like that to keep going. and she was talking about like how she wanted to get a tattoo, but she was afraid to get a tattoo. But her friend wanted to get a tattoo, and then she learned how to tattoo by watching a tattooist TikTok and started tattooing herself with a gun that she got online. And then she wanted to tattoo her, but then she was like, "That really hurts. I don't want to do that." And she's like, "I don't know what I should do." She's like, "Should I get a tattoo? I don't know." She's like, "I'm afraid that if I get an image that like I'll see it on TikTok and somebody else will have it, I'll be like, oh my god, I have that tattoo that that woman has on TikTok." And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "it's okay to get things that other people like if multiple people can like things." It's like, but then she was just going on about like just the fact that she wanted to get a unique tattoo so she could put it up so she could show her friends on TikTok. And I was just like, oh my god, it's like, why is TikTok in this particular why is it such a large like
Yeah.
aspect of your decision making when it comes to getting a tattoo? Yeah. And then she asked me if I had an Instagram, and that was really weird. I was like, no. She was like, "Oh, you don't?" She's like, "You have a tattoo, an Instagram to show off your tattoos?" And I was like, "No, I don't."
Boy, isn't that revealing.
I was like, "No, I don't, nor have I ever fucking thought about that." And I was like, you know what, like when you walk away from a conversation and you're kind of just like perplexed. She was a very nice young lady, just to be very clear. But yeah, I walked away from that conversation being like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm living in the wrong era. What can I say?
Well, anybody who's not young is living in the wrong era now.
Yep, and the slider for
We all
what is
get
old and
older
young
faster.
keeps moving. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It'll be. I feel like I'm becoming weirder and weirder now. The further I get in life, and the more absence of social media or internet presence I have, it's like it starts to stand out. It's interesting to me now, like, and the way that people are like, "Well, you don't have a this, you don't have a that." I'm like, no, and like, and they are almost kind of like weirded out with the fact that I have no interest, and it's like, no, like, I was happy to leave high school and not have to be social anymore. I was like, I'm not interested in popularity. I don't care what people think. Oh my god! Did you read about this psychiatrist who's trying to poise that there's a new personality type? Now, I know that extroversion and introversion are not hard line. These are kind of like very loose structures that people use. They're kind of like quick ideas for behaviors. They're not a hard line structure. But this guy, I can't remember his name. He is basically theorizing that there is another personality type called an outrovert. I think it's what it
I think I've
is.
heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically somebody who has the ability to be social, right? But doesn't like any of it. So it's basically like they can be social, but they do not get sucked into um, the sort of the tribalism of groups. They don't get sucked into the games. They don't get sucked into the mindset. They can still be outside of whatever it is that's going on, and they can see all the flaws in the situation, but they are involved. And I was like, well, that's an interesting Piccadilly. I was like, so, an introvert wants to be left alone and likes like, small individuals
That
rather
sounds
than
like
groups.
me.
You know what? That's the weird thing about it is everybody I have talked to about introverts says that. They go, oh, that sounds like me. I think I've talked to like maybe 10 people about this. I think 9 of them said that. And I'm kind of like,
Interesting.
yeah, that's what's weird about it is that like this is all like a psychic reading where like you hear something and then you kind of fit your details into it.
Well, but I mean, based on the definition you're
Yeah.
outlining, it does because
Yeah.
you're the one who's like, oh, you're way more social than I am. That's what you tell me all the time, and I
Oh, you
am.
are. I think you
But
are.
I also, I mean, I gave TikTok 2 weeks, and I was like, that bail. I have no
Okay,
interest in
hold
any
on.
of the new
Hold on, hold on.
stuff.
Hold on. There are two things that work in you, my friend. There
Yeah.
is there is the base storm of who you are. And then
Mm.
there is the like other childlike part of you that wants to, you know what? We'll use a Freudian setup, right? There's your super
Oh, good.
ego, and there's your super, and we're not going to talk about penises. It's okay. There's your super ego, and there's your id, right? And the interplay between them is what basically creates your personality, right? So in your
Mm.
case, your severe attitude and OCD and vision for how the world is supposed to be is your superego, right? It's that part of you that goes, this shit is supposed to be like this, and that is fucked up, right? It's that part of you.
This is true. Yeah.
But then there is the id part of you. Now, most people, the id part is like, I want to fuck everything and eat all the pizza, right? It's like the beast, right? So in my case, my id is like, those are some sexy ladies over there. But I think your id is more childlike, and your id sits there and goes, but I just want to be with people, and I want us to all be nice, and I wanted to interact, and I want us to have an artistic, get together, and like you have this kind of Leave It to Beaver hope, right? Like, it makes you want to go on other people's podcasts. It makes you want to talk to people. Your id genuinely wants a human connection on like a group scale. It feels good,
yeah.
and I understand that because when it goes off correctly, right, it's a great feeling. But then there's the other part of you, and those two parts are at play, and they create your ego, your personality. They create the person that you are. Those two forces, right? And that's you, and that's my vision of you. So yeah, you're always at odds, and if you meet people and you meet a group and you like them, but then the superego part of you discovers that I don't know, they hate dogs, or they're racist or something like that. You look at them and go, shit, I don't think I could be social with you guys because there's this glaring thing about you that's really terrible. And the part of me that organizes the universe says, I'm sorry, this doesn't fit. I can't be here. And that's where your id gets sad, because your id sits there and goes, but I want to be social, but I can't be social because the superego has fucking rules. Fuck the rules, right? And then that creates sort of this neurological dissension in your mind where you're like, I want this, but I can't have it because it doesn't fit. Yeah. So yes, you're more social than me. My id does not want to be social. I think my id wants to eat and dance in the dark by myself, and occasionally meet sexy women and have sex. But luckily, I'm married, so I have someone to do that with. Like my id does not steer to any kind of large group setups. It never has. Like, that's kind of the funny part. Like, going to college. I mean, I know people who then pull me into larger groups, and I know how to survive them, but I don't want to be there. Like, it's uncomfortable and weird for me. There are animals that just work better in the dark, in caves, under a rock, and there are animals that are great in the sun. Yeah. And maybe that's what makes this whole fucking show rotate. Is that we have these two forces. We have two superegos that are fucking crazy, and two completely different ids. And somewhere in the middle of all that, there is an ego, a persona that is the Ozone Nightmare.
I suppose that makes as much sense as anything else.
We are a strange gestalt, the two of us. Yes. And you are the public face, and I am the private face.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. You want to talk about some TV shit?
You had a review, didn't you?
Yeah, TV shit.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, go ahead, sure. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know where we
No,
were.
I just shifted on you there.
No, go for it.
I watched something I didn't like, and I'm sad I didn't like it.
Okay.
And you know, so my wife and I have been looking for a new cop show to watch, right? Okay. So we watched Kenneth Branagh's Wallander, which is from 2008, right?
Yeah, I remember it being on. I don't remember hearing a damn thing about it. But
okay, so this is apparently a remake of a Swedish show, right? But rather than reset the whole thing in the UK, they literally just remade it still in Sweden and just had everyone speak English. Right? Which that right there, weird decision. Now, it's got a lot of good people in it. I mean, Kenneth Branagh is a great actor, and Tom Hiddleston's in it. What's that?
Sure. No, I like Kenneth Branagh.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like
most people don't. So
it's got, and then was it Kenneth Branagh's father in the show is David Warner, right? So that all seemed good. And then I watched it.
I was gonna say, like David Warner as well. So this is all so far good.
But then I watched it and I was just bored as hell. Like Kenneth Branagh's detective character, other than the fact that he's got a daddy issue, and he's coming to grips with like some there's some question of coming to grips with his own masculinity or whatnot. He doesn't seem incredibly that good at being a detective. Like he's like the head detective, but like I don't know why. It's like he's there, and this is going to become a theme of the night. It's like he's there because the script just said he's got to be there. But otherwise,
Got it.
I don't know why he's there. Like, he doesn't seem particularly great at his job. And then the mystery of the show almost becomes like secondary to like his daddy issues and the fact that his father is going senile. And like, no one's acting poorly. No one's bad. Nothing is bad about it. It's just that you get to the end and you have this great cast and it should be good. But you get to the end and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like I had no inclination whatsoever to watch the next one. I was just like, okay, that's fine. I'm good. And then I watched like the first episode of Broadchurch with Tennant and what's her name? Coleman. What's the fuck?
Yeah, I can't remember her first
Olivia
name.
Colman. Olivia Colman.
Olivia, that's it.
Olivia Colman.
I kept thinking
So
Patricia because I had the last three letters.
And then I watched like the first episode of Broadchurch, and I was like, you know what? This is way better. I was like, a lot of people, a lot of different shit going on. Definitely wasn't bored. Was sitting there going, what the fuck is going on? And Nicholas Hoult was in Wallander too, which I knew who the murderer was because of Nicholas Hoult. Because I'm watching the show, and so far I've got Tom Hiddleston is like a side is like a a junior detective, and Kenneth Branagh is the lead, and David Warner's the dad, and then I don't know anybody else. Everyone's kind of like general BBC background actors, right? And then he goes to interview somebody who's connected to one of the victims, right? And when he goes to talk to the mother, her son is played by Nicholas Hoult. Now this is post About a Boy Nicholas Hoult. This is Nicholas Hoult, I think, like, oh wait, what? Oh man, like has he done? No, he has. This is Nicholas Hoult, I think, right before he's starting to get into like X-Men or any of this shit, right? But he still did that movie About a Boy, and he still had a lot of history, and he's a very good young actor. So I was sitting there going, why would you put Nicholas Hoult in this role? And I was like, you know what? I think he did it. And my wife's like, no. And I'm like, it was like early on in the show, and I was like, yeah, I think Nicholas Hoult did it. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because why would you cast Nicholas Hoult in that role? I was like, if he's just going to be like some bystander that they interview and then fuck off, I was like, he's important because it's Nicholas Hoult. And I hate that. I hate the meta-analysis that ruins mysteries for yourself. Where you're like, guys, get an unknown. So I can't just, but it's like, listen, if you're watching a movie or anything and there's like some random secondary character that's not just a total cameo, right? And it's like a well-known actor, you're like, that person's important. They may be the killer. So, but needless to say, they had all this talent, and it just was so. I said to my wife, "I was like, why is this show so milk toast?" I was like, I'm so like bored, and I was really let down by that, because Kenneth Branagh is good. Like he does good work. I mean, I liked his Pierrot with the fucking psychotic mustache. I liked the two movies that he did. They were fun. But yeah, there was just very strange decisions. Like the fact that it's still supposed to be Swedish, but they're all just British, and like I feel like this show would have been better if they moved it to the UK and maybe finagled it a little bit. Before the show, we were talking about how like we like covers when people make an effort to like actually like reinvent a song when they do a cover. This feels like a cover that just did the song exactly as it was over again with a new band. Doesn't feel new at all. And yeah, it was a big letdown. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
like said,
and especially
when there's good
especially
people in
since
something.
I watched an episode of Longmire right before I saw this show that I think was probably one of the best send-offs for like a secondary plot I've ever seen, where there is a man. So what's her name? Starbuck. Jesus. and
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff. So Katie Sackhoff is one of the second or the deputies in Longmire. Longmire is the sheriff.
Right. Yeah,
and she has this character who she had an affair with when she was in Philadelphia and she was a cop there, and she basically turned over evidence to internal affairs and got his partner basically put away, and the guy killed himself. And so this ex-lover of hers is very angry with her and found out that she had relocated out to middle bumfuck nowhere. And over the last 2 seasons, he's popped up now and then and made some threats and kind of been a problem. And she was worried that he was going to try and hurt her, right? And especially at one point, he basically says to her, he's like, he goes, I don't want to kill you. He goes, I just want to destroy your life. He's like, I want to destroy your life the way that you destroyed my life, right? And then he just kind of disappears, and then you didn't know where he was in the show. And I saw this episode where basically the Vic and her husband get kidnapped by one of these what do you call these? One of these they call them amosexuals. What do they call them? Like preppers, a bunch of preppers, right? You think the government's coming to get them?
Okay, yeah.
And they think that she's out to get them, and she gets kidnapped, and the sheriff realizes what's going on, and out of nowhere, the ex-lover shows up. The sheriff's like, "The fuck are you doing here?" And he's like, "Stalking her." He's like, "That's what I'm doing, and she's in danger. I know where she is." And so the sheriff has to work with the ex-lover, who is an ex-cop, and the two of them have to work together to get her out, because he doesn't want her dead. Remember, he just wants her to suffer. So the ex-lover helps, and then at the end of the episode, essentially through the situation that's gone on, her marriage may be ruined, and the sheriff, who is her best friend, who she may be in love with, may be dead. And so the ex-lover looks he gets in a car, basically drives them off the premises, and they get a little bit of ways, and he basically just stops the car, gets out, and looks at her and goes, "Goodbye, Vic." And he just walks off. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, what an excellent way to end a subplot where essentially this guy gets what he wants and then fucks off. That's it. Didn't want to kill her. Didn't want to rape her or torture her. He just wanted to see her life fall apart. And he does. And then he leaves. And he's happy. And he even helped to keep her alive just so he could watch her be unhappy. And I was like, wow. It's that is unintended. I don't know if they planned it, or it was one of those things that just fell into their lap. But I was like, that is an exceptionally well done, subplot that has naturally come to a very tidy conclusion. And I didn't even see it coming. And I was like, that's fantastic. I was like, because the bad guy, it's he doesn't quite, he gets what he wants, but he gets it in kind of a weird positive way where it's him getting what he wants also keeps her alive. So it's very strange and conflicted. So I saw that, and then 2 days later I watched Wallander, and I was like, I am so bored here. It's okay. So yeah. I don't think I'll give it a second chance. I'm just gonna watch David Tennant be a detective for a while, which is a new experience for me.
I've only heard good things about that show.
Yeah, I mean, Olivia Colman cries a lot, and it makes sense why she's crying. I mean, a child dies at the very beginning, and it's the child who's friends with one of her sons, right? So she knows it's a small town. Everybody knows these kids, and it's okay,
sure,
I get it. I get why she's crying. Man, she cries a lot, and then David Tennant is just this ball of tension through the whole first thing, It's very funny. Either way, yes. And Wallander got 4 seasons. My wife said to me, she's like, maybe we should watch another one to see if a different director can make better use of it. You know what I mean? This is a season 1.
Is this an English production?
Yeah, it is. It's an English production, but
that's why. That's why.
But you think I should give it a chance?
I'm gonna make a generalization, which I have a lot of reason to stand behind, which is that English sensibilities towards serious shows are different. I have seen many British shows that are wallpaper searingly boring that get long runs. I think it's just I think it's that the dry sense of humor, and there's a different sensibility about drama where it's almost the embodiment of quiet dignity and grace. They're okay with it being slow and plotting because there's some kind of.
But I don't have a problem with
ability in that. Yeah, but we're seeing it differently. I'm saying things that, because I am fine with that. I love Stalker. I'm fine with things doing nothing for a long time, and yet I've seen things where I'm like, no, this is different. This is not the same as deliberately pacing and letting you feel something and be immersed in it. This is just wood. I'm looking at wood.
Yeah.
And yet, then I read reviews, often from people where it was made, saying this is truly a magnificent piece of dramatic writing.
Apparently, it was praised for its quality and compelling detective arc.
See? There you have it.
Yeah.
That was the audience. And
there is one genuinely really good scene where Nicholas Hoult has got the last victim by the neck, and he's got a hatchet. And he's surrounded by the cops, and Kenneth Branagh is like, listen, he's like, no one deserves to die. He's like, these women who were, because it's about a child prostitution rape culture thing. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's one of Nicholas Holt's, one of his sisters got basically abused, right? And it made her catatonic. So like the ringleader, Nicholas Holt's got him, and he's the last guy he's going to kill. And he's already killed like 4 or 5 guys at this point. And he gets to the end, and Wallander has the gun on him, and Kenneth Branagh's like, nobody needs to die. Nobody deserves to die. And Nicholas Hoult just look at him and go, I think some people deserve to die. And he tries to fucking bury the hatchet in the guy. And they shoot him. But then they do this thing. This is one thing that detective shows do a lot that drives me crazy. I'm like, well, what fucking happened? Did he die? Did he go to the hospital? Like, they never tell you whether he killed him or not. Like, they never tell you, like, Longmire did this, where there was this whole storyline about Russian adoptions, and, like, basically, like, people who adopt kids and then decide that they can't handle it, so then they, like, give them to other people. And apparently, this is, like, some kind of weird legal practice. I only know because I'd read about this before, where like you have these kids who are like problem kids and their parents kind of hand them off, and they end up being like, adopted by predators, right? And it goes very poorly. And that's kind of what happens in the show. So at the end of it, Longmire gets the one Russian girl out of the situation. He's like, don't worry. He's like, we're going to find something better for you. And then the show just ends. And I was like, what happened to the little Russian girl? Where did she go? I was like, what was your solution, fuckers? And and now I'm always looking to find out what happened to the little Russian girl. So, and it's not just Longmire. Longmire does it every now and then, but like every mystery show does that. And Wallander did that, and it drives me crazy. Where I'm like, I need like 2 minutes of information. Like, did he die?
Yeah.
Who took the girl? Was and like I think one of the reasons we like Law and Order so much is because Law and Order tried to do that, where they'd be like, first 10 minutes we caught him, next 20 minutes, is he guilty? I don't know. We have a trial. Like, and some episodes it was like more finding the guy and like kind of a little bit of trial. And some episodes were like, we found him in the first 2 minutes and it's all trial. But at least they tried to give you the aftermath of the situation.
Yeah.
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 So no, I did not praise Wallander for its quality. I mean, honestly, quality-wise, it was filmed well. It looked good. It had top-notch actors in it. It was just boring and like forgettable.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I'm sad. I don't like bad reviews. I mean, some shit is bad, but like this, I when you watch something and you guys are genuinely trying. There's like, I know there's quality here. I just wish you did better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We'll see. But it has one hope, which is that the next episode is directed by somebody else. Branagh didn't direct it too. I was so worried that he directed the first episode. But I was like, no, Branagh knows how to direct. He
does. He does.
In fact, he can get a little campy. I like that about him.
Yeah.
Like when he directed his version of Hamlet, he was the one that wanted like he hits like a Sam Raimi moment where he throws a knife and the camera like follows the knife
Yeah,
spinning
yeah,
through
yeah.
the air. Yeah, I mean like he
Yeah.
can be a bit campy. So
Well, I mean, that Poirot mustache. Come on.
I know, and that was kind of his decision apparently.
That's what I'm saying. Is if you don't think that was a camp decision by him, then I don't know what you're
Yeah.
looking at.
And
'Cause
and
it
and then
is.
he's got a little like doesn't he have like a little net he wears on his face too at night?
I
think
think so. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
Like Branagh can be really good,
Yeah.
and that's what baffles me about this is that like
well,
the character has so little personality.
yeah.
So, anyway, did you have something for me before we move on?
Yes, I do. I have the other side of the coin, which is I decided to watch the first episode of Alien Earth because I had seen such divisive reviews of this thing.
I read some interesting reviews. Yeah, I did.
Right. So
I
I'm
have
like,
been
all right.
tempted. Yeah.
I was like, let me watch it. And when it started, I really didn't know because it has such
Can I
go ahead.
Can I interject
Sure.
a moment so you can confirm something for me? I read a review that basically said, in Alien Earth, the humans are the bad guys. They're the real problem.
Well, the alien is not the threat. So yes,
Okay.
I don't know whether it's human beings generally.
Yeah.
But the most terrifying element of it is not the xenomorph. The xenomorph feels secondary, to be honest, to the whole thing. It's
And
just
honestly,
an
that makes me want to watch it.
Well, okay. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I started the first one.
Yeah.
And he's throwing, because this is the guy who did Legion, which I love. And
I didn't know that.
Legion is technically about the X-Men, but it really is not about the X-Men at all. It's just a jumping off point because he wanted to use a character with a very, very exaggerated mental illness. That's what Legion is. It's actually about somebody who is deeply traumatized and happens to have psychic abilities. And what happens if you are basically, it is Professor X, but with a mental illness. That's what Legion is, right? But what it also is just a excuse for him to have a lot of really trippy psychedelic visuals and ways of portraying these different things.
That dance fight is still.
Oh
iconic.
yeah, no, I love it, Legion. It's a great show. So Alien Earth starts off, and there's so much being thrown at you with no explanation that I went, oh boy, this. Not to use a pun, but this is going to alienate a lot of people because it's a lot. And then, right after, probably 5, 6, 7 minutes in, it then becomes Alien for a while, where it's very clearly recreating the ship, the visuals. I mean, there's a thing where they're all around the table, and it's basically Alien. All the visuals are the same ship, Mother is there, same thing. And I'm like, okay, now we're getting the people back in who thought it was going to be Alien. Is this now what it's going to be? And I think that was just a way to sucker people in before it went completely in a different direction. So the core concept is the main character. Well, there's really two main characters, depending on how you look at it. One is Wendy, who is a hybrid. The opening thing says that there are cyborgs, which are people who are augmented, and there are synths, which are synthetic beings like Ash, and that's the Timothy Oliphant character. Kirsch is a synth. And now, the tech genius behind a company named Prodigy, which is there's 5 super corpos. The world government collapsed, democracy failed, and these 5 governments stepped in and fixed things. Right?
I read a review that said something along the lines of, I totally understand now why humans were so desperate to colonize other planets.
Yeah. So the 5, they're called the 5. Weyland-Yutani is one of them. And we do see the person who's running that, which is a woman. She's new, so it's not like we ever knew her before, but she's the female CEO of Weyland-Yutani who's knows somebody. But anyway, so Wendy originally was a young woman with some kind of terminal illness named Marcy, and because she was going to die, she was volunteered to try this project out, which is essentially it's not quite Ghost in the Shell because there is no human part of anything. Her consciousness, she lies on the bed next to her body, and her consciousness is shifted into the positronic brain. So she's like if Data was empty, and whatever the founder's name was, whose name I can't remember now, the human guy had transferred his brain into Data through some process.
Yeah.
That's what Wendy is. She is Marcy's Marcy's consciousness imprinted into a positronic brain.
She's essentially an imprint of the consciousness. Yes,
so they call those hybrids. And she was the first one. She was successful, and then they made several others. And they are all based because the CEO of Prodigy is a sociopathic man-child named literally Boy Cavalier. That's his name. And he bases all of their names on Peter Pan because to him,
I did read something about that, yeah.
Yes, this is the way that he'll be able to sell immortality. He's like, I can make you live forever. You never have to age. You never have to die. You're in here, and you're fine. They have not addressed in any way the maintenance of these beings, which I'm curious if that ever is going to come up, because that was my first thought was, well, Ghost in the Shell said, well, yeah, but we have to work forever or our parts degrade and they'll never fix us. So there is another side to that, but they haven't gotten into it yet.
Oh, well, yeah, they fucking own you. They own you.
Well, that they do get into. There's a point where her brother finds out that she's alive and goes and says, well, when can I take her home? And the guy, boy's secondary, is like, no. You don't understand. The human being that was your sister is gone. What is here now is our property. And that's how it is. So, yes, they're very clear on the fact that if you transfer, you have no autonomy left. As far as you can't go be free in the world. You are a corporate asset, period.
Yeah, we own you.
Right. So the first episode, in this, we're getting all this about the hybrids, and we kind of get the background of Wendy, Marcy, all that stuff, and the other ones. And they're all children. They act like children.
Wait,
Wendy is slightly ahead of them.
Is there a Peter?
No. Well, Peter, I think his boy sees himself as Peter, the leader of the Lost Boys, because he calls them the Lost Boys.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
so I think he sees himself as Peter, the person making all the magic.
Is he a synth or is he human?
Unclear. Right now, he appears to be human. Whether he is or not is anybody's guess. But he walks around in pajamas with no shoes on all the time. Like, he is acting like Peter Pan, like a giant child who has all the power.
But he's a genius.
Yes. And he said, okay, he's rich. Whether he's a genius or whether he employs people who are smart, unclear. We don't know. The way he talks, he's very Elon Musky, which makes me think he's actually a dope that has surrounded himself with brilliant people via money. Because at one point, there's a psychologist who's there, and she's talking with him, and she's like, well, what are we doing? What is the true goal? And he says, you know what the problem is? I'm the smartest person in the world, and I can't have an interesting conversation with anybody. He said, what I want is I want to create a being who I can debate the great ideas with.
When does this take place? Hold on. When does this take place?
2 years before Alien. It's 2 years before the Nostromo.
All right, so this is after. So have the prequels been dumped?
2120 or something? No, they're still no. Because the prequels are not. Okay. There's two things. Yeah. Noah Hawley, the guy who's running this, the Legion guy, has said he doesn't give a shit about the rest of the films. He said, I'm not worrying about continuity. I have a story to tell, I'm telling it. He said, if it goes, he said, if it's successful and it goes far enough, I can probably figure out how to get it into Alien, to get the end of this become the beginning of Alien. But he's like, I'm not concerned with that. He's like, that's not a priority. He's not going to necessarily willingly negate anything.
But he has his own ideas.
He's not concerned with it. Yes. So, first episode, a starship with alien specimens, one being a xenomorph, but with four others that are completely foreign to the xenomorph, crashes on Earth. And the entire... I really thought the whole show might take place on the ship the way it was going in the first episode. I'm like, is this going to be all on the ship? Because that's not a bad idea. I mean, the scene where the ship crashes is horrifying. And by the way, if you're anybody who was around for 9/11 and it triggers you at all, don't watch this episode unless you really think you can handle it. Because holy shit, it's fucking brutal. It is brutal in a way that I haven't seen a show be brutal about this type of incident in a major city in a while. I mean, when that thing crashes, I was like, oh.
Is the crash an accident?
Yes, the alien escapes. The alien gets out. The xenomorph gets out and kills everybody on the ship except for a cyborg, who basically seals himself up until the ship stops crashing.
Does it kill the other specimens, or are they still in their tanks?
No, they're all fine. They're all locked up. He's the only one who got out. Or I say he. The xenomorph is the only one that escaped.
No, you know what? It is a he, because there is one queen, and all the rest of them are worker bees or working males. It is a he.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets out. X gets out and runs rampant, as you would expect. Slices everybody. The xenomorph is in the first episode all over. Like, they demystify the shit out of the alien. There's no secret about him. Although, boy, oh boy, I love how they keep making him hide in plain sight. They do it really well, and they keep doing it, and it keeps working. I have not run that into the ground where you see something in the background, and because there's weird sculpture and shit all over and just weird architecture, you don't think about it, but then suddenly it moves. You're like, fuck, he's been there the whole time. It's great. So, ship crashes, and the team that's sent in includes Wendy's brother. And she has some kind of ability to manipulate machines in some way. She's manifested some ability to commune with machines. Very, very Motoko Kusanagi in that way. And so she realizes her brother's in there, and she says, hey, send me in. Send us in to, like, lock down the site. And Boy Cavalier's like, okay, I want to see what they can do. Fuck it, send him in. Because he just doesn't give a shit about anything. Hence the Cavalier part of his name. So they go in, and the very end of the episode is basically them getting into the ship and realizing that this thing has broken out. And the first episode was so good that I burned through the next 3 immediately. And I've watched all that's out currently. Well, as of this, there's 4 that are out. And the thing that is impressive, it is gore central. Like, I'm not even going to bother trying to get my wife to watch this. It's too gory. Jesus Christ. It's impressive. But
because
the visuals are stunning.
People, or because...
No, it's not even... The alien is the least scary thing in this show. Like, he does all his alien stuff. Although Wendy does do something novel. She drives a hook through its little mouth stabber thing, tears it off, and then manages to cut it in half with her sword. She actually defeats the alien quite handily, although it does put her catatonic for a couple hours.
So the alien is out.
Well, one of them is. They've got 6 more eggs.
Oh, they've got eggs. Okay.
Oh, they've got eggs. Yeah. So so then Timothy Oliphant is Kirsch.
Wait, hold on. That begs the question. Where's the queen?
Well, they just took the eggs. They found the eggs on the planet. They didn't know what they were dealing with. They just grabbed the first thing they saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and Yutani, they're Yutani's property, and Boy Cavalier realizes that she wants it. So she's like, now they're mine. They landed in my city. This province is under my company's control. So I want it. Like children, these fucking people are. And so he's like, go get them. I want them. I want all this stuff. And so they do. They recover everything, including the dead alien. They bring the alien back to study it. So they've got the body. She's cut the head off, but they've got the body and the head.
But what's funny is that explains why Whale and Yutani would want one so fucking badly in the other movie.
Yes.
They
exactly.
don't have it. Yeah.
Right. They had it and somebody took it, so they had to get it again if they could find it. So, Kirsch, which is Timothy Oliphant's synth character, he's fascinating because I feel like what he's doing is every synth we've seen in any of the movies all in one. I really can't yet place his morality. He's playing this thing so neutral.
Who is he working for?
Well, technically, he works for Boy Cavalier, but he clearly doesn't like him. Like, he realizes that this guy is a buffoon, or at the very least, is far too reckless. Because at one point, Cavalier comes in near the eggs, and he throws them out. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, don't you realize these eggs respond to organics? That thing would have killed you, so you can't come in here. But the way he says it is like, you fucking moron. You don't even understand what these things are. And you're just walking around them. Like you're playing with a loaded gun.
Yeah,
moron.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so, Kirsch is great. Like, Timothy Oliphant, great actor. The way he's playing the character, I really have no idea what he's going to end up being. I really can't tell. If he's just going to end up being an Ash, or if he's going to turn into a Bishop, or he's going to be a David. Like, I don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you have kind of you have the extremes now, because you have the good,
yes,
the bad, and then the God. So it's like,
yes, and he does it because then he's talking about the way he talks about human beings. Sometimes he sounds like Ash, but then he's also protective of them, and he does seem to care to some degree. So he seems like Bishop. So he shifts around. And I don't know what model he's supposed to be. We haven't heard anything about how the synths have changed since the Prometheus events.
Probably some kind of custom.
Sure.
If he's
or he might be something that Cavalier invented based on stolen tech from Yutani. Very possible. And maybe he got it wrong, or was so careless about it that he didn't realize he was creating a synth that could turn against him, because he sure seems like he could just kill anybody, including his maker. In any event. So now Boy Cavalier is throwing aside all the synth project because he's so fascinated with the aliens, mostly because Yutani wants them, not because they're actually better, because everybody's like, wait a minute. If we figure out the immortality thing, do you know how much money and power that is? He's like, yeah, but she wants this. There's got to be a reason she wants it, so I want it, so get it for me. It's one of those kind of things. So all along, when Wendy went into the ship and she's been walking around, she's hearing this noise, and it's giving her like severe headaches, and she doesn't know what it is. And they figure out that what she's hearing is the aliens' language. She understands how they talk. And when they're cutting them up, they're shrieking, and she's hearing it. So this I think was really, really smart and clever. I like this a lot. So they basically shut her hearing off, and they start to adjust her audio sensors so that she can hear it, but then it doesn't hurt her. So they're like playing with the frequencies, and they're adjusting all these dials, and they're like, okay, tell us when you can hear it clearly, but when it doesn't hurt you. And so they dial it in. And now she can recreate the language. Like, she starts talking as them, like making the noises.
Weird.
And Cavalier's like, oh, you know how to talk to them. That means you can control them. Like, you can see exactly where this guy's going, right?
Yeah.
So the end of the 4th episode, the brother, the alien, had punctured his lung. The tail went through him, but it only went through his lung, so he survives. So they take out his lung. They keep it. They put a new lung in, which then makes him their property, because there's a point where he's like, yeah, I'm not, because they're like, we need you to tell us whether this transfer process really worked. She seems like your sister to us, but you know her better than anybody. And since now you've found out she's alive, which then nobody's supposed to know. It's supposed to be a secret. But she basically just tells him. And Cavalier's kind of pissed, but he's like, no, this is a new lever of control. I'm fine with it. And so they take his lung and they put it into like a Bacta tank, and they basically cut open the face hugger, and they find what it actually drops into, which is this little tiny tadpole thing. And basically they pull that out of the dead face hugger, and they drop it into the tank with the lung, and it goes into the lung and starts gestating. Because Kirsch figures it out right away. He's like, I know what this thing is. This is what it does. This is how it incubates, blah, blah, blah. Like, he knows all the stuff. He's like Ash in that way, where he's just interested in the science of it. And so there's a point where when he's extracting that little tadpole thing, it's shrieking, and Wendy walks in, and it's so piercing she collapses, and that's when they figure out they have to dial her audio stuff in. So at the end of the 4th episode, she comes in, and she looks at the lung, and the lung explodes. It bursts the tank, and the chest burster comes out. You know, the one that comes out of John Hurt, where it's got the face of the alien, but the rest of it's just a tail. And it starts to run, and she starts to talk to it, and it stops. And it turns around, and at first it's really suspicious, and you see she's kind of figuring out the language of how to talk to it, because at first it's going to bite her, but she keeps adjusting what she's saying, and then it stops, and then she reaches out and pets it, and then she just kind of looks at it, and it's staring at her, and then the episode ends. So I don't know where the fuck they're going now, but she can talk to them.
Oh, I wonder if we're gonna get a xenomorph synth. I wonder if we're gonna get a xenomorph synth.
Well, that's
they from the Labyrinth.
Well, yes, but here's the other thing: is in the movies, in Romulus, they called the alien thing a hybrid, so they've used this term for merging of xenomorph and something else before. So I didn't think about it until that, where I'm like, oh yeah, they've used the word hybrid specifically in the Alien films before. So what are we going towards? I don't know. But the show's fucking awesome. Like, there's a lot of people who hate it. I don't know why. If you're really, really devoted to the Alien continuity and canon, I guess you'd hate this because it doesn't give a fuck. The idea that she can talk to it, I'm sure, like the guy who wrote, the author of Sandman Slim, what's that guy's name?
Oh,
I follow him on. Yeah, he's like, this is the stupidest show I've ever seen. Fuck this show.
Richard,
I'm like, oh, okay.
It's not Richard Cadre.
Yeah, Richard Cadre. That's it. Cadre. That's him. That guy. He hates it. I'm like, really? He's like, this has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, because I like it, but I don't know how much he loves Alien. And maybe he's big on canon and continuity.
Honestly,
what the hell
it
do I know?
sounds a bit. I mean, it sounds a bit fucking desolate, post-apocalyptic cyberpunk.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Because I said the alien is not the threat. None of the alien stuff at all. Although the eye alien is the most disgustingly scary of all of them. The eye alien is an octopus with an eye on top. It's an eye with octopus legs. And what it does is it burrows into you, pushes one of your eyeballs out, takes its place, and then takes over your brain. So they have a sheep, and it goes into the sheep. Is
this a different type of xenomorph?
It's completely different. Yeah, it's one. There's one that looks like a Prometheus type, sort of, with the pod.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. There's one that looks like a giant bug thing, sort of. There's the xenomorph. There's the eyeball. And then there's what I can only call a space tick. It basically latches onto your blood supply, gets really fat, and then explodes, and more ticks come out. And that's all it does. Yeah. So, I mean, they're not all smart, except the eyeball one is. Because the sheep is just a sheep, and then it burrows in, pushes the eyeball out, which is fucking gross, takes over, so it's got this big eyeball on the one side that's all bloody and fucked up. And as soon as it does, the sheep stands up for a minute, looks around, and then readopts the form of the sheep, but they can see its brainwaves, and Kirsch is like, yeah, it's pretending it's a sheep, but it's not. That thing is listening to us. And it starts watching him, and he starts kind of moving, and the sheep is just like slowly watching him and moving too. And he's like, yeah, it's listening to us, and it's watching me. That thing is intelligent. Whatever it may look like, that thing is highly intelligent because I'm looking at the gamma, the waves. But it takes over whatever's in it. And so, but again, those things aren't even scary. That's just pure kind of gore. The thing that you start to really realize, and this is what makes it a joke now when people talk about, we're all being listened to and we're all under surveillance. The hell we are. This future, everything is surveilled. Everything. There's cameras built into each of those hybrids where he can see and hear everything they're saying. There's cameras everywhere. Everything is being watched. Everything is being monitored. Everything.
Well, and to some degree, that's why suddenly being a colonist seems so desirable.
Yeah. That's the thing that's terrifying. And it has nothing to do with the xenomorph. The terrifying part is all that stuff is under control of petty adult children who just want everybody else's toys. That's what's scary. The ownership, how people are made into property. Because like when the brother wants to leave, the second in command says, okay, you can leave. By the way, that lung inside of you, we paid for that. We're getting paid back. So you're either going to work the rest of your life back home, paying that lung off, and believe me, we'll make sure it is the rest of your life. Or you stay here, you observe your sister, and you tell us whether she's actually your sister. And then we'll call it even. But understand, you are now also our property because that lung is ours. Even though he didn't consent to have it put in.
Oh, they don't care.
They could have repaired it.
They are the government and the corporation. They're in charge.
They are. They literally are. Yes, correct. So, but now the cyborg who was on the ship when it crashed works for Yutani and says, well, my mission is to get that xenomorph back. And so he gets his hooks into one of the other hybrids, one of the other kids, because they are kids. Yeah. When he first sees them, they're acting weird. He's like, you're like children. And they're like, we're not children. And he realizes, oh, yeah, you are children. What the hell is this?
Well, some of them
understands there's something wrong about them. That all of the hybrids are children.
Yeah.
All the hybrids that exist are all children. Yeah, they're all 12 or under. Because Wendy's the oldest, and she was going to be 12. So these are literal minds of children put into adult bodies. So he gets his hooks into one of them and basically finds out who his parents, his family, and goes, and he's like, I'm with your mother now. I need a xenomorph. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring a person in near that egg, and then you're going to bring that person to me inside of 24 hours. And the person that he's going to bring in front of them is the brother, it looks like, which of course I'm sure isn't going to happen, or he's going to get infected and they'll get it out. I mean, something will happen. Or he'll become a hybrid, I don't know. But like I said, the show's fucking sensational. I love it. Which I said somewhere, I love this show, therefore it's doomed. I broke the rule. I watched it. I like it. So it's get canceled. It'll be canceled. It'll never get.
I mean, that's usually how it works. If we like something, especially if we like it a lot, then usually it's
fucked. Yeah, it's fucked. So, shame.
If you know what, listen. No, hold on.
Episode,
I want you to think of it in a different way, though. This guy's got to know, the guy who's running the show, that he's fucked, right? He's got to know that he may only get 2 seasons, right? So, and he said he has a story he wants to tell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the hope is that this guy can get 2 seasons, get a complete story out of there, and what you get is an extra long, like, alien movie in universe that's many, many hours long.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's worth it, right? 2 seasons of a show and have it actually have an ending.
As long as it has an ending, yes, it is. Yeah. If it doesn't, no, it's not.
I mean, that's the difficult part, though.
That's the difficult part.
And
the one thing that he does that's just kind of out of nowhere is every episode ends with a random hard rock song. And it so happens that episode 2 ends with a Tool song that I haven't heard in forever. And so when we first started the show, I always had music playing in the background.
And I listen to that song all the time. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, you're playing Tool tonight,
and Lando says, "Oh, we're in a Tool mood tonight." And I said, "Well, there's a reason." And that's why. It's because, let's see, the first episode, what did the first episode?
Good. I'm glad it was a show reason and it wasn't like you were in a Tool mood. Because sometimes
No. Yeah. Let's see. The first one ended with...
Because, like, when I was a kid and I used to listen to Anemia, if I was listening to Anemia, something bad had happened.
Oh. No, Tool isn't a negative for me. It's a weird, warped thing. Okay. So the first episode ended with The Mob Rules by Black Sabbath. Episode 2 was Stinkfist by Tool. I believe episode 3 was Metallica. Hold on. 3.
Yeah, but you said the gore is through the roof, right?
Oh, through the roof.
Yes, I can't watch this. I can't watch this with my wife either.
It's fucking splatter central. Wherever I May Roam was episode 3, and episode 4 was... hold on, that's not the song that ended it. Ocean Size by Jane's Addiction, another great song. So he's picking great songs.
How many episodes are there? How many episodes?
8. So I'm halfway through.
Right, well, I'll tell you what.
It's only 8.
If you want to find a way that we can somehow sync this,
we can sync it. I'll rewatch this in a heartbeat. I did. I will say this.
Yeah.
I found a mistake. I saw a mistake. I backed the episode up, and I'm like, they made a mistake. But it's a mistake that I want to know what the original version of it was.
Which is
There's a part where they're crawling through the wreckage.
Yeah.
And they come through this thing, and the alien is behind them. Right? So it's Wendy the brother, and I don't remember all the names because they're all Neverland names. Like Smee is one of them. They're all names based on whatever. So it's the 3 of them, and they come through this wreckage. And the shot cuts, but right before it did, my eye caught something, and I backed it up, and I looked. And there is an arm, but I can't tell if it's human or alien, that comes right behind the brother, but they cut from it. So I'm like, what was that? That's not... I thought it was like the just a flash of something. It was something. A physical form was there. And then the next scene, the alien's not there for a while, so either they changed what happened and re-edited it, or something, because I'm like, that's somebody's arm. And I don't think it's a crew member because it looks like somebody crawling behind them. So they had to have changed something. It's like the fucking Matrix when he sees the black cat, and you're like, fuck, something changed. Yeah. And I know what it is, except I don't know what it is.
Well, if you find a way to have it so we can both watch it in the way that we do. We can watch those 4 and catch up.
Oh yeah.
Let's do that. Because honestly, there's nobody else is going to watch it with me.
No, and I'd be happy to watch it again because let's see, goofs. Hold on, I want to see if there's Come on. Plot holes, no. The eye bug. Oh, that's what they call it? The eye bug. Okay. Well, apparently it's called the eye bug. Was it episode 3? I'm just really curious if somebody else caught it. Because I'm like, well, if I saw it, somebody else had to have seen it. So I'm just curious if somebody else noted that there was like something there. Because that's got to be an error. I don't remember. That's what I'm looking at to see if... hold on. Floor Lab.
What's the name of the guy?
The brother's name is... Shit, I have to look at the episode. I don't remember what his name is. His name is Hermit. Joe Hermit. That's the character's name.
Joe.
Hey, it was the first
another
episode.
Joe.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, another fucking Joe. Jesus Christ. What the hell's happening? Let me see if there's any errors here. It would be considered a goof. Revealing mistakes. Wait a minute. No. Incorrectly regarded. No, it wouldn't be that. Plot hole, boom mic visible. No, it's not a boom. It's not a fucking boom mic. I know what a boom mic looks like, and it's not that scene.
All right, so
I will.
Hold on.
I will show it to you when it happens.
With an arm behind Joe on the ship in Alien Earth features the cyborg security officer, Morrow.
Oh, that's him!
As a Weyland-Yutani employee, Morrow is focused on recovering the alien specimens from the crashed ship and will harm anyone who gets in his way.
Yes, that's correct.
So that's
his arm?
They're saying it's Morrow's arm.
All right, so which episode are they saying? 2? Was it 2?
Or
are they not saying?
Hold on,
when we watch it, I will find the timestamp. I will run through it and find it. Because I want you to look at it. Because if it is, it doesn't, the continuity of the scenes after it don't make any sense. They don't not make sense. But
somebody brought this up on Reddit, by the way. Alien Earth's fan favorite, Babu, shows off a very Geiger-esque cyborg arm. And he's amazing behind-the-scenes stills
awesome.
from Alien vs. This is Aliens vs. Predator. Damn it.
Oh,
that is a cool arm, though. Jesus.
His arm's great. Yeah, his arm is great.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's got like a single blade that comes out of it.
No, there's nothing.
Like I said.
Yeah, that's all the information I could find.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, like I said, I will get the timestamp so that I can warn you so that you can see it because, and yes, they definitely did make Kirsch look like Roy Batty. No doubt about it. That's what he looks like. Because there are elements of Blade Runner and, like there's part, like Total Recall. They're talking about Mars a lot. Like there's all kinds of stuff where like, okay, they're sprinkling this in. That's fine. Like here, Alien Earth is awful. Tried to enjoy it, but the show is pretentious. Yes, and I'm fine with that. It's okay. I don't mind that. It's all right. So, yeah.
Pretentious.
Yeah. Anyway,
good.
Yes.
I mean, it'll be amazing if they make it through 2 seasons. But hopefully, the director will realize that. I finished
watching all 3 episodes, and honestly, I'm kind of rooting for the aliens. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. Hey, isn't that the whole point? I mean, you're rooting against Weyland-Yutani. Ripley doesn't even trust them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, what was it? Yutani wrote off an entire colony just to get a chance at getting a sample.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, like I said.
If you find a way that we can watch it, then I'll watch it with you. It'll be fun.
I'll find.
The reviews are good. You know, it's not just another fucking. Oh, whatever. It's not just another stupid xenomorph movie.
This series isn't good at all. All right.
I'm curious the accent you put on that.
It's not good at all.
It's not good at all.
Oh, you're no fun at all. You don't remember that that's from? I always do that. That's the girl in Akira when they're on top of the building. And, Kaneda's bored. She's like, bah, you're no fun at all. They give her a Brooklyn accent for some fucking reason out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know, but you make it sound like a Jewish grandmother. It's very different. That was a girl.
Well, maybe that's the accent. Maybe it was. I don't know. But
okay, well, I guess we're on to the silly stuff now.
I forgot. Oh, shit. Hold on. I accidentally just opened Premiere. Let me make sure it doesn't crash the system. Uh-oh. I clicked the wrong Hold on. No, it's fine. I just got to close it because it's going to try to take over the whole system here. I mean, it won't because I didn't open a project. Let me just quit. Thank you. All right, we're good. I just, if it's something went, I was going to, hold on. I mean, it's Adobe shit tends to be heavy. So,
and then
all right,
the
now,
show crashed.
Here we go.
Thanks for killing my mom.
Hey, no problem.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
The juice. Give me the juice.
Interestingly, of the 4 things we're going to talk about tonight, only one of them was in English, and there was no good clip to pull from it. So I have no clips to play
That's
on
fine.
the outro of that.
That's okay.
You know, so it's not like
there's gonna be some debate tonight. Don't worry.
It's not like the previous one where we had a gem.
You see, white girls bore me. You might say I'm a bit of a racist.
I mean,
I wonder what that guy went on to do. I mean, he's so pretty, and he has the good deliveries. I wonder what he went on to do. I'm always curious where actors end up. I mean, because the other girl went on to be a Bond girl.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, she had obviously a long career, clearly. Inspector Colt, let's see. Did he do anything? Oh, no. Yeah, he was in the TV movie of The Burbs in 2019. He was on The Sopranos, Sex and the City, obviously, pretty. Weekend at Bernie's 2, Hunter, Dynasty. Also, he did a mix of things. His last project was in 2020 on a show called The Job, or Short. He was a Knight Rider. Yeah, he did work.
Oh, that guy.
Started off
guy
on Taxi.
works.
First
That guy
in Taxi.
Totally works on Knight Rider.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we should start with Neon.
Okay. Or N bracket Eon bracket or N dot EON.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You found this. So how did you find this?
I did. I have in the background a collection of short animated features, films, all this different stuff that at some point, what exactly happened here, I wanted to kind of arrange them I don't think I've seen any of these, of the ones that I've got for us at some point. But the other thing is I have to get the times to kind of fit together because we try to stick to 90 to 2 hours at the most. And a lot of short films tend to be 40 minutes, but some can be an hour. And so I was like, okay, can I find 2 that are around 90 minutes? And so I found 2. One was 45, one was 28. Although in fairness, the 45-minute one is really more like 35 and then 10 minutes of stuff afterwards where there's a discussion in a language we can't understand.
Of just fucking around and looking at models,
Yeah, which is fine, but we couldn't understand a word they were saying. So the other one that I saw the poster for this thing, the artwork for something called Neon, or whatever this is supposed to be pronounced. And so I thought the artwork was neat looking, and I looked at it and it said, written and directed by Dave McKean. And I know who Dave McKean is. You know who Dave McKean is. A lot of people who were into comics, particularly in the 80s and 90s, and if you were into Sandman at all, you probably know who Dave McKean is.
If you were into Dark Horse, Dave McKean was a person around, he did a lot
you
of
saw the
covers.
movie Mirror Mask and really liked it. You probably know who Dave McKean is. In fact, even if you don't know the name, many people might know the artwork. Batman Arkham Asylum. I mean, he did a lot of stuff, mostly covers, but also full runs of comics here and there. He's kind of like Art Adams, where he doesn't do a lot of comics, but when he does them, he does them. So I thought, okay, if nothing else, this should look interesting. And so I found where I could get it from archive. Luckily, almost everything is on archive. Legally or not is not my concern. It's there. I grab it. So however it made its way there, because I don't think you can actually acquire it legally in any form anyway. So to me, that's a gray area, and I'm good with it. So I got it from the archive and slotted it up, and I'm like, okay, we're going to watch this along with this other thing. Not knowing if they would have any relation.
This was one of the most art house films I think we've watched. And normally, that can be
This was a drawing restraint number 9 that didn't piss us off.
No, yeah. The thing is that when you get that, it can get pretentious, right? And it can get annoying. But in this respect, it's kind of a weird love letter on one level to Venice, but on the other level, it's kind of this idea of somebody who's lost something. I mean, I was trying to find out if his wife had passed away, because it's a very personal, like, kind of bit of storyline, and I couldn't find anything about whether he was divorced or he'd lost his wife or something like that. But essentially, he's part of this short film is about him loving Venice and going to Venice and wandering Venice, which I totally understand, because if you've been to Venice And if you've wandered Venice at night, there is this kind of weird thing when the tourists are gone, and Venice kind of turns into like I don't know. It feels like something could happen. Something fantastical could happen. It's a city of alleyways. You know what I mean? Courtyards and stairwells and it's such a weird place. So I totally got that angle. And then at one point, the protagonist of our tale encounters a phantasm, a white, naked, I don't know why, but a naked phantasm. And she keeps approaching him and then picking up a note that's on the floor and then phasing out. And our protagonist, the narrator, goes on about how he's never quite felt at home in this world, where he's always felt like, he almost belonged someplace else. And he talks about being lost in these moments, and there's a longing. There's a like a dream-like longing to the whole storyline. And eventually what happens is our protagonist keeps going back. And you've got all these kind of like short sort of narrations about other things kind of between. But by the end, he writes a note, which you never see what's on it. And he leaves the note where the phantasm picks things up. And so the next time she shows up, she picks up his note. And instead of disappearing, she approaches him. And she touches his face. At which point, it's like they both get lost in the reflection of the window. Like he's not really there anymore. Seems to be where she is. That's the effect I got. It's an art film, so it's open for interpretation. Yeah. My interpretation of this was that he was longing for something. I mean, nothing is said, but it's like a lost lover, like somebody who died, right? Or he's longing for the fantastical. I mean, she could be a metaphor for the more fantastical life, for all we know, right? And he desperately wants that, and so he decides to essentially go with her. So I don't know what the note says, but for all you know, it says, take me with you. At which point at the end, she does. I think at the end, he goes where she is. I don't necessarily think she's a phantasm and that she's dead. I think that she's from someplace else. I mean, my brain instantly goes to something like Mirror Mask or like, a more Hellboy. I could see a story like this mingling with Benicio del Toro's material. You know what I mean? Sure. And that was my interpretation. I enjoyed it far more than I thought. It helps the fact that Dave McKean and I both seem to feel about Venice the same way. And the visuals were very well done, and it was like a dream. I mean, especially in the beginning, when he starts talking, but you can kind of half hear him, and it is like you're seeping into somebody else's dreamscape, And the guy who they got to do the narration, he's got a really good voice. I mean, it's very, it's very smooth and sort of neutral. But there is a sense of longing to it. You know what I mean? I thought it was extremely well done. I mean, it's a choose your own adventure. It's up for interpretation. I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd be bored with it, but I thought that it was for a half-hour short art film. I thought that it was very entertaining.
I'm going to read a quote because I looked around a little bit to see if I could find anything on this movie's making of, which I did not. Then, like you, I was like, okay, well, is there something that happened in his life? And as far as I can tell, I found an interview from 2024, so fairly recent, or I guess he wrote a book, which I will probably read now, about how he makes art and his opinion of art and stuff like that, which sounds fascinating. And I found there was an interview, and I'm going to read this quote. It's a bit long, but it may directly tie into this particular film. So, the question posed was, do you dream often? The answer, quote, I don't dream very much, certainly nothing I remember very clearly. I used to dream a lot more, and I tend to link dreams to anxiety. I'm just not that anxious these days. Well, beyond the impending eco-catastrophe and wars and theocracy springing up all over the place, personally I'm managing my own sanity somehow, but the experience of dreaming has had a huge influence on the kind of stories I'm drawn to. The way dreams tend to scratch mix elements in your life, detaching huge emotions in your life from their original context and applying them to mundane, trivial things. The sense of dislocation, of being in a familiar and yet completely alien place at the same time. Adults going to school, my house sited on a precipice, my wife being two people and being forced to choose between them. That last one stayed with me for days. End quote. So,
interesting.
I don't know where this movie came from either, but that's an awfully specific reference.
Yeah, I mean, that adds a new interpretation, which is to say that Dave McKean goes on vacation to Venice without his wife, and when he's there, he sees a fantastical version of his wife and decides to stay with her.
Well, okay, that's my interpretation was completely different.
No,
Mine was that because there's a point where when she picks up the note, the first couple times, or one time she crumples it, throws it away, what seems like in anger, and then vanishes. But then the next time she picks it up, seems to react more positively, and then they go into the window. So that to me feels like the two versions and choosing between them type of thing. So I think this is exactly what we're
because
inferring,
remember,
the
last note he leaves for her.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is I don't know that he didn't leave the first one and we just didn't see it. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I don't know what the first note was.
And when it comes to stuff like this, you have to judge based on what you're seeing, and based on what we're seeing, he only left one note. So it's one of those things where, like, if you want to go beyond that, then yes, we can start making stuff up. But just based on the material that's there on the screen, he left one note at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I think that this is where some of that, it is a dream sequence.
Yeah, and there is an anxiety to it because because
he keeps seeing her disappear, and then he goes back, and he sees her disappear again, and like there's apples fall down, and time freezes, and So no, I think I said this in my spoiler-free review. I said the reason I think this movie works so well is because it's very short. If this just kept going on on, it would just wear on you quick.
It would be bad. Yeah, the fact that it's only a half hour long.
It gives you just enough so that you understand that things have changed, that there's a change happening, but not enough that you understand clearly what's going on, and so you have to read into it what you want.
Yeah, and there's enough healthy mystery.
There's a part of me that took this story as the wife killed herself, and the note she was finding was the note that she had written to him. Oh, and so she was throwing it away.
He left her suicide note for her?
No, that she was seeing her own note.
Oh, okay.
And so, and again, I don't know any of this, but then the last note he leaves is, I don't want you to feel like you're on your own. I'll be with you soon. And he killed himself. And now he's with her. That's how I looked at it. Because if it was me, I'd want to be with her.
See, and the thing is, like, I don't think it's necessarily about death. I think that there's... It's the whole alive, dead is very limited. It's almost like the end of Solaris.
It is, but she appears to be a ghost.
Are we alive or are we dead? And she's like, we don't have to think about things like that way anymore,
And I don't disagree with you, but she seems phantasm-like.
She does. She does, yeah.
Now, maybe if you want to look at it in a positive way, so we can flip this without it losing any of the same mechanics, maybe she crossed over somewhere and he figured out how to go there with her, and he says, I'll see you soon. And he figured it out through the magic purple light bulb.
Things where he fell in love. Maybe this is... if you separate Dave McKean from this and you make it more of just a story, right? It's not about Dave McKean, it's just a story, right? In the context of the story, he is wandering a city that he loves, feeling out of place, and he sees something that comes from the city and falls in love with it from a distance and is trying to find a way to get to it. And when he gets to it, he becomes part of what it is. And in a weird way, he becomes part of the city that he loves.
Sure.
But it's art. We can interpret it.
I was going to say, the great part is none of us are wrong.
Yeah, and that's very nice
you're
about
right,
it.
So am I.
It's just long enough, just short enough that gives you, like I said, some healthy mystery that you can play with and think about it different ways, and there's no definitive answer.
Yep. That's exactly what I said.
That's pretty much all I have to say about Neon.
Yeah. It's a great little art film, and it barely takes up any of your time. and it's beautiful to look at, and I like the music too, because he did some of it and he chopped up somebody else's music too.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Very good. And very short. So barely any, not even a half hour. It's 28 minutes. So that was the second of the short films that we did. Now, when you eventually hear the commentary, it's just one commentary across both films. But the movie that came first is a mostly animated, is what I'm saying for, a mostly animated film from 1988 titled Dragon's Heaven.
All the story. So calling it a hybrid film is kind of weird because just the very basic introduction of it is live action. And it's impressive because it's a big fucking model. But that's the only part of it that's really live action. All the story of it is animated. So for all intents and purposes, it's an animated story with a live action intro.
The only thing that complicates that, because you're mostly right, is you do get the backstory over the live action stuff. So it is technically
that's
part
the
of
intro.
the story.
Yeah,
but that's laying out the background. So it is mostly animated, but if the beginning had just been shots of the live action stuff and then the animated thing at the intro, I'd say, well, it's really just animated. It's just they wanted to show off the model. But they kind of wanted both, which is fine.
Dragon's Heaven is a hodgepodge of all the best 80s anime. Somebody basically wanted to make an anime short. They wanted to incorporate all the cool elements that they liked. And so you've got this anime about a giant robot and his human driver who seems to have a thing for robots. And the two of them battle another robot who's also left over from a previous war. They both have advanced technologies, and it's that simple. It's that short. Like it looks like Macross. It sounds like Macross half the time, or a lot of other animes from the time. It has a lot of the cool the cool things that have become stereotypes. But like,
it's Mœbius Plus.
Yeah, and that's the thing is there's a very Mœbius slant to the art, but it's like Mœbius Macross, like, you know what I mean? And it's not a complicated story. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward.
No, it's stripped. It's stripped to the bone.
It is like the first. I mean, it's almost like the first episode, a pilot for a possible, anime series or some shit like that. But it's really good. I enjoyed it. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and an end. And the end, the robot even gets a kiss at the end from the girl, who obviously has some kind of weird robot fetish. And the girl is so hyper anime sexualized.
That's hysterical.
I mean, her curves are just coming off the screen, and yet I don't think she's ever nude either.
She is when she gets, but you never see it. So they never.
Yeah, you never see anything. Yeah. So what I mean is like it's so funny because she's so sexualized, and yet there never is actually anything sexual in it. Her giving the robot a kiss is like the last thing. I mean, and it's like literally a peck right at the end.
But it's clear she'll have sex with that robot. That's all. And it's funny. The robot's like the robot also seems to know that because he's like, "Can you cover up?" He realizes
the robot has modesty. It's very funny. Yeah, and the robot design,
like a person.
Yeah, the robot design is interesting. Like none of the robots look conventional, and that is one thing I did like about it. That was kind of unique.
No.
Like the villain robot has kind of a really weird look to the way his body is arranged.
Yeah, he looks like a plant. He looks like wiry and like tendrily.
He's viney, yeah. And then the good robot has this giant fucking fin head.
And his thunder thighs.
Yeah,
it's like Tanya Harding with a fin head. It's fucking crazy.
In the cockpit where he can have a human is like in his one peck. Like it's But I mean sorry. Dragon's Heaven is all fun. There's no downside to it. It's just anime fun. If you loved anime from the 80s and you want like almost like a refresher for the feel of it, Dragon's Heaven is honestly, it's only half hour because there's after the credits, there's like 10-minute credits where they show you the guys building the mech model. But there's no translations for it, so we had no idea what they were talking about.
No, we don't know what they were saying.
So it was funny to watch, but really the main part of it's about a half hour long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but enjoyable, very enjoyable. I mean,
excellent.
was this actually made in the 80s?
Yeah, 88 is when it was released. So, I mean, I don't know how long it took to film, but it wasn't particularly long. So my guess is it was not tough.
How is this even released? Like, did you find out that? Was this in theaters or?
Let me see if it probably was an OVA. Does it say anything about the production? It says aired, so it probably was on TV. It's an OVA, so it was probably in Japanese television somewhere. Yeah.
Got it. Well,
Yeah,
I thought it was.
there was stuff like
watching this in Neon back to back, where it was so weird because they were two completely different experiences.
Yeah. Although the one similarity between them is they had very little filler. They were stripped to the bone,
Oh, yeah.
man. It was like they got to the point quick.
Yeah, and that's the thing
And then they got out.
about shorts. I mean, shorts are kind of like short stories, where like you have to strip it down, so it just moves quick. So yeah, I mean, there was no. If anything, I almost got a little bit of whiplash with how quickly that show moved, or that short moved.
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
once we got to the last fight, I think this is it.
Yeah,
And then it ends, and then they go off to have a life together with a white picket fence and house.
Well, he's now the protector of that city, and she's his pilot.
Well,
I do like that. There's
Mœbius
always like a
pilot.
sexual inversion. Like she is the sex symbol, but she has to crawl inside of him to make him more
That's what I'm saying.
effective.
Is there's clearly a lot going on there that we're never going to see the end of. I mean, I don't know if there can be human mech hybrids, but if there can, they're going to have them. That's all I can tell you. It's going to happen. Because she is just like she's trying to make him jealous when the other robot shows up. She's like, "Oh, he's better looking than you are." And the
He's
other
more my
robot's
type
like,
than
"Give
you
it
are
up."
anyway. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow, he's good looking. It's a shame we have to kill him. He's like, "Stop it."
I mean,
it's hysterical.
Yeah, but he's like that with her too, because at one point the bad guy's like,
No, I know.
You can't use your special weapon, you'll kill your pilot. And he's like, I think she can take it. And he like fucking sets it off. I mean,
Yeah, no. This is what I'm saying is they're acting like teenagers who are like bickering, but actually secretly are into each other. No, that's what I like about it.
I would watch more. If I found out there was more Dragon's Heaven, I would watch it.
So would I. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a shame. It's a shame there isn't more of it because it is so. It's just
interesting.
Needless,
And it's different.
Well, it's just needless fun. I mean, like, there's nothing overly demanding of it. It's fun to watch. There's nothing bad about it. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's just all good.
Yeah.
I mean, how often can you say that
Like I
about
said,
something?
No, it's and that again because it's short, it just gets to the point and it's done.
Yeah.
And that's what I think helps it is there isn't a bunch of filler. This is one thing like I've come to realize. As much as I love the old Godzilla films, and I do love them,
There's a lot of
half of those movies is just people in a room. You're like, okay, can we get back to the guys in the rubber suits beating on each other? That's the interesting part. I don't care about this grandfather and the grandson who are trying to escape from a boat. Like, I don't care. Just where's Godzilla shooting something? Where's the monster? Replicating and drop kicking him and pyrotechnics. That's what I want. And we pretend that's not what we want, but that's what we want. So this movie is all of that.
Who pretends that's not what we want? That's
There are
absolutely
people
what we
who
want.
will say, "Oh no, the movie's good the whole way through." No. You fast forward through a lot of that. As soon as you hear his roar, you stop the fast forward, then you hit it again when somebody gets in a car and they're trying to escape from the building. We don't care. I'm not going to say none of them have stuff in between that's good, but a lot of them don't. We just pretend they don't, but they do.
There you go.
Yeah. So then we went from that to a movie I've reviewed before titled At Midnight I'll Possess Your Soul, I believe.
I'll take your soul. I'll take your soul.
Okay, I'll take your soul. I knew it was one of them because I think the second one is possess your body, probably. Anyway, At Midnight I'll take your soul. I reviewed a while ago.
So if you want the juice on this, find the previous show where Jed reviewed it.
Yes.
But beyond that,
most of this is going to be your reaction to it because I've already had my reaction to it.
I think most of this is going to be our argument on it. Now, let me get this out in front. This movie was filmed in a 600-foot theater. right? 600
Which
square
is
foot
impressive.
theater, which is very impressive because they recreated a forest, several houses, a town. Like at no point do you feel like you're in a 600 square foot studio, right? So as a piece of movie making, this is impressive, right? As the first quote unquote Brazilian horror movie, it is impressive. So all of these are all reasons that if you love cinema, you should see this movie, right? Because it is impressive to do that. Because I mean, I do love there was a detail we read about how some of the people working on the movie got in trouble with the law because they were cutting trees down to drag them into the theater or to the studio to make it look like a forest. That said, I think of this movie as another art film, right? Very close to Neon in that you have to interpret what the fuck the point of this movie is, right? Because I mean, you could watch it as some kind of horror movie. But I think if you just watch it without really thinking about it, I think you're missing part of the horror, right? Because the main character in this movie, Coffin Joe, is a fucking asshole. And he's the worst kind of asshole. He's a showy asshole. He's a showy, evil asshole who needs to let everybody know that he's being evil. He's the kind of guy that walks in the room and he's like, everybody look at me, I'm doing evil things. I'm wearing all black because I'm so evil. And you're all afraid of me. Ha 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 ha. Right? Now, I can't, many times in this movie, I wanted somebody to romper stomper his ass. I mean, just fucking let him have it. I applaud the movie maker in that he created a character that I forcefully disliked, right? And wanted to see die. And at the fact that at the end he dies of fright, you're kind of like, okay, but there should have been chains. There should have been a decapitation. They should have pulled his nuts off. But either way. But there is the horror of this movie I'm coming to realize is this is a very Trumpian movie in the sense that when you get an obvious monster and the people do nothing out of cowardice or out of some sense of, well, there's an order to the world, right? Then to some degree you deserve the monster that you get. You know, Coffin Joe's best friend, Coffin Joe kills his best friend, rapes his wife, and beats up various people in the town, right? And nobody stops him. At one point, somebody stands up to him, right? And he cuts his face, and then basically demoralizes him right there in front of everybody. And I'm sitting there going, "There's a whole crowd of you. Why aren't you just fucking kicking this guy's teeth in?" Because that's the thing that was really annoying me. Because in many normal situations, this guy would get the shit kicked out of him. But because it's written this way, he doesn't. But I'm like, okay, let me get over my irritation and try to listen to what the movie maker is saying here. And I feel that this art movie is saying you get the monster that you allow to happen. You know, so Coffin Joe's best friend could not see that Coffin Joe was a sociopath who was just focused on, you know, having children, which is weird, having children for his bloodline, and basically telling off all religion, but at the same time making sure that religion understands he's telling it off. So there's a comedy in this because Coffin Joe is saying, I don't believe in God, but I want God to know that I don't believe in him. Like, he actually does say that at one point, right? So there is a weird comedy to the character in that he desperately wants to be noticed, not noticing you, right? He desperately wants to be noticed by God, not believing in God, right? And the people do nothing. And the message to me is, if you do nothing, then you deserve the monster that you get. Now, the comeuppance of the movie is that essentially a woman derails him. There's a gypsy that basically tells him that he's going to die, that he's going to see something, and she essentially programs him. She puts a thought in his mind, and then when he's alone in the woods, he basically thinks that this something is coming from it. He's going to be punished. And there's a scene in this movie where he sees the zombie of his the best friend that he killed. He sees the zombie version, but there's a weird effect around the zombie, and you never see the zombie again. And when he opens his friend's coffin, the body is in there. So I think that zombie is not really there. I think that is you seeing Coffin Joe's fucking guilt hallucination that he's going to be murdered, but he's going to be murdered by this thing that the gypsy told him. I mean, listen, it's either gypsy magic that she's like, fuck you, Coffin Joe, because she doesn't take his shit at all. Or it's Coffin Joe basically having his very tenuous psyche tested and broken, and then having him turn his fear on himself and dying of fright, right? Because as it is, he has this, and from earlier on in the movie, Coffin Joe seems to be a little bit bipolar. I mean, he seems to be on the the spectrum of disorder. So, yeah, he scares himself to death. But I think the larger horror of the movie is, why don't these people stand up to him? And I think the message is, if you don't stand up, then you deserve the monster that you get. That's at least my interpretation of what I think is a Brazilian horror art film. Thoughts, feelings?
I have no issue with anything you've said. Like I said, I already reviewed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think my attitude towards this movie is any different than it was the first time.
I think you find Coffin Joe far more amusing than I do.
I think he's hysterical. But I also did on this viewing start to wonder, kind of like what you're talking about, is any of this actually happening? Or is this almost all in his head?
Oh, what do you think that in his head he thinks he's as cool as he is?
Well, what I mean is, when he's beating up the guy in the bar, did that actually happen, or did he imagine that happens? Because it doesn't make any sense. And in the end, he does end up what seems like scaring himself to death, which is if he's gone into full psychosis,
I think that all that stuff is true. I think the only time you question his psyche is when there's the weird light effect around the zombie. And earlier on when he's in his house and he's like yelling at the god and the devil, and he's like having this like he's having an anxiety attack is what it looks like. A severe anxiety attack, right?
He's losing his mind for sure.
I think that Coffin Joe has a structure for what he wants out of the world, and he thinks he deserves it, and he thinks he's going to get it. And I think this movie is basically about the unraveling, because he is thwarted twice by a woman in this.
Yeah.
He rapes a woman, and he's like, "You're going to have my baby." And she's like, "No, I won't." And he's like, "Yes, you will." And then she kills herself. And he's like, "Oh my God, she beat me." And they're like, "Yep, she did. She didn't get what you wanted, asshole. Fuck you." And then later on, he wants everyone to fear and respect him. And instead, the gypsy woman's like, "Hey, Coffin Joe, go fuck yourself, buddy." And she laughs at him. She laughs at him in front of a woman that he's trying to ensorcelle with his charm. I do like that scene where he's like with the woman and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you can see Coffin Joe, much like a psychopath who can put the charm on when he realizes he needs it. Right, so Coffin Joe can be charming, because there's a thing in there where you're like, why would anyone marry this guy? And it's like, well, because he can be charming. He does have the air. He knows what he needs to do. It's just that once he gets what he wants, I mean, he kills his fucking wife early on because he's like, she's not going to give me babies. I'm just going to kill her. It's not even like, I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to kick you. It's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. So, I do think that stuff happens, but I do think that, yeah, his hold on reality is tenuous. And I think that the gypsy woman basically finds, I think maybe it's gypsy magic, or maybe he just couldn't handle a woman kicking him over the edge.
The only other part of this movie that I wonder about is what happens before we see him now. What was he like?
When did he
before?
become this way?
Yeah, because the interesting bit, because, okay, when the movie starts, he gives this little monologue where he talks about how the only thing that matters is continuation of the blood, therefore you must have a son. Like, that's his whole thing. So, but he's married, or he's with this woman. Presumably they're having sex. I mean, there's no indication they're not.
They must be having
So
sex,
is it
or
that
else he
she
would have killed
can't-
her sooner.
Well, but
she
can
appears to be
not
barren.
have a child?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
she
that's the
appears
thing,
to
is
be
we don't
barren, yeah.
explicitly get that, but that would have to be the reason.
Yeah.
And so, when did he turn into Goth Lord? You know, I don't know.
Well, no,
Was he
here's the thing. So
always like this?
he is the Undertaker for the town, right? So he
Correct.
is dressed like a flamboyant Undertaker.
He is.
So like I mean the outfit is really funny and the way he wears it, but like it's not so out of the ordinary, especially in the context of the movie.
Well, it's not. It does feel anachronistic, but only because he's the only one dressed all in black.
Well, because
So
he's
to
the
your
Undertaker.
point, even being an Undertaker, Undertakers don't always wear top hats and capes, though.
No, I know
don't
that,
think
but
even
when
in the
you
60s.
watch, here's the thing: when you watch old westerns, or actually when you watch westerns in general, the Undertaker usually wears in black. He usually has a black outfit.
No, yes, minus the cape and hat, nothing unusual.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Nothing unusual, but the
No,
cape and hat push it over.
Well, he adds the flourish because he thinks that is his flourish. He is
Right,
not just
but-
the Undertaker; he is Coffin Joe, the most amazing
But
Undertaker.
was that always the case, or did
Oh.
something happen?
Well, you
I
want
don't know.
you want a prequel where they explain that he got
Well,
a head injury?
It's not that I need it, but it is a point
Yeah.
of curiosity where you sit there and go,
How did you become this psychology?
because if he was always like this,
How did he get this far?
well, there's two sides to it. One is, if he is the only Undertaker in town, did he kill the previous one would be a question. But besides that, okay, are people just used to him
I think he's
like
killed.
this?
I think he's killed before. I don't think this is his first murder.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, but everybody in town seems to kind of know what his deal is. You know what I mean? Like, nobody
well,
is
they can see he has
overly
a temper.
surprised.
They can see that
Yeah.
he's a bit rapey. I mean, he's a rapey asshole
He's not a
with
bit
a temper.
rapey. He is a rapey asshole.
He's yes.
You can't be a bit rapey. You're a rapist or you're not. He's a rapist.
Yeah.
He is.
So, yes.
So the thing is, again, to your point, why have they tolerated him this long? Why hasn't he been run out of town?
And honestly, for the longest time in my brain, I was like, because it's written that way, right? But I do think I don't think if we go by the logic of if we go by the logic of you have to interpret what's on the screen. You can't try to interpret things that aren't there, because the movie maker put what he put there for a reason to communicate a message, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's not about how he got there so much as here is the monster and how does the town deal with him, right?
Yeah.
So, Frankenstein, right? Typically in Frankenstein movies, which are not like the book, but like the Frankenstein monster movies, where the
films.
people get pitchforks and they're like, fuck the monster, right? Then the monster, runs away, right? But really the monster is Dr. Frankenstein. It's not really the monster. The monster just looks like a monster, right?
Yep.
So in this case, Coffin Joe is Frankenstein. He is the monster.
Yeah.
But they're afraid of him because he is so hyper aggressive. He is so rapey. And he's the Undertaker. So he comes from a place of death. I mean, think about the time period. There's a mysticism about death. And he is rife with it. The cemetery is his place. Right? So there is an air to him. But I think, for me, the interpretation I have of the movie is that the people, because of their cowardice, they allow him. They enabled him to be what he was. By doing nothing, you enable monsters. It's only by smashing their faces in when they try to rape your daughter that you fucking keep them in line. Right? So, like, when the guy tries to get... when he gets really handsy with the bartender, the niece, and the guy's like, hey, that's my niece, back off. And then he, like, stabs the guy in the face. The rest of the people in the bar should have been like, hey, fuck you, buddy, and, like, gotten in there. But instead, they just stand there with their mouths open like, oh, my God, what should we do? And, like, oh, my God, he's making him beg. Well, we're just going to stand here so maybe he won't hurt us. And you're like, right, that's... that. If anything, This movie probably has some kind of intense political message about the state of things in Brazil in that time period that we just cannot see because we are not living in Brazil in the time when this movie came out. Because this movie was a huge hit too. Like, it went on. People really adored it.
Yes.
So there's obviously more going on. Unless Brazil is full of, psychopaths who just want to be, edgelords and dress in black. But I don't believe that. I believe there's more to this movie.
I think I said this in the commentary. From my understanding, Brazil at this time period was extremely religious for the most part. And so I think there's a component that you and I just can't really understand, which is somebody being satanic is frightening to people.
Yeah.
It's the idea that this person may be in league with the devil will make people afraid.
But what's funny is that he's not in league with the devil. He hates him too. He hates fucking everything.
Yes, but the thing is, the only time he gives that speech is really by himself, or he says something to his wife. He says something to somebody about the effect that, his best friend. He's like, I don't believe in anything. But he doesn't say that out in the open. In the open, he looks like a demon.
But on Friday, he goes to get meat on Friday, and they're like, you can't do that. It's the holy day. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he's like eating meat in the window while the religious procession. I know. And I think that's the part, is that he's just such a fucking asshole about it.
But that's what I mean about.
But I guess that's
to the faithful. Is that scary to be in such open defiance of God? I don't know, because I don't have any faith, so I can't.
And the thing is, like,
but maybe
that is one aspect of the movie, and the other aspect is that he's not just against their God; he is also rapey and murdery. You know what I mean? And at one point, they're talking about how they're looking for evidence. They're looking for evidence. They need something that can pin on him or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of evidence you need to look for.
And I'm kind of like, I'm surprised because, the way they set this town up, I wouldn't put them past them just stringing them up. But apparently, this isn't one of those towns. And I think that's what it is the impotence of the townsfolk. It's a statement.
Well, I think you sort of hit on what I think there might be a secondary message in here, which is he says this whole thing about everybody's pretending. I'm the only one who's being honest about the fact that none of this shit is real. Their cowardice does prove his point that people who were actually good and faithful and just would have strung him up. They would have been like, no, you are defying God. God is okay with us, punishing you.
Yeah.
Or is it the idea that God didn't smite him, and so they're like, well, he must be super powerful?
A murderer and a rapist, yeah.
Right. And so at the very least, he should have already been
arrested. But you know what? But to some degree, God does, because at the end, he dies of fear.
Well, and then, right, kind of so weird. Is it God or is it him? That's the thing.
I mean, and that is the question. Did God strike him down, or did he just believe so completely in his own bullshit that it killed him? Works either way. I mean, it's weird because this movie is almost like a pro-religion movie. You know, we were talking about how Hack-O-Lantern is like a very bad movie for like devil worshippers.
I said that movie shows you that devil worship is lame.
It's boring.
This movie shows you that just going around pretending that you're super evil is lame.
Is lame, yes. It's like it's weird because they're both kind of like weird, pro-religion movies in a way.
Kind of.
I didn't enjoy it. And I didn't enjoy it not because it was a bad movie. I didn't enjoy it because I fucking hated him. I just hated him so much. Like, that was the part. It irritated me. Like I said, that it went on. Like, I needed someone to beat him up halfway through the movie. But, like, the whole point is that everyone was afraid. And the only person who stands up to him is the gypsy and the woman who gets raped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think that if you are interested in the history of movies, or if you're interested in movie making, it is definitely worth watching. I do think it's an interesting art film that you're going to have to find your interpretation of what's going on because it's not spelled out.
No.
And in that respect, there are interpretations of this. But for me, the message I walked away with is you get the monster you allow.
That's true. Yeah.
So.
No, the nice part is, like the Neon film, this movie does not give you a absolute answer as to what happened or what's going on. Yeah. You have to bring something to it.
Yeah, and the thing is, and again, it's not filmed badly. It's filmed very well. In fact, it'd be
No,
I would almost
astonishing. For
I
what
would
it-
love
what-
to
what
see
they had.
this guy do something not Coffin Joe. Did he do other movies?
I believe he did, but it might have been like a porno film. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Hold on, let me look. I just looked up Coffee Joe. No, Coffin Joe. Hold on, let me look. Let me see. Did he do anything else?
Because the way he directs, it'd be interesting to.
Here we go. Although most known for films in the horror genre, Marin's also created exploitation, drug exploitation, sexploitation, and westerns.
Ooh. I wonder what his
What
Western looks
What Western
like.
did he do? Hold on, let's see.
Jeez, that sounds like it'd be
Filmography.
funny.
Wow, these titles are amazing. What's Adventurer's Fate? Is a Western. His first movie was a Western. He did that before this one. Adventurer's Fate from 1958.
Interesting. I would
He
be
then
so
did a drama
curious
film.
what his Western would look like.
Let's see. Did he do after the Coffin Joe movies? Awakening of the Beast. Horror
I mean, I tell you what,
exploitation.
the fact that I'm interested in his movie work, despite loathing this character to the degree that I do, does say a lot about the fact that this guy was able to create something. You know,
The Bloody Exorcism of Coffee Joe. The Strange Hostel of Naked Pleasures. I'm guessing I know what that is. Hellish Flesh. I'm guessing I know what that is. Hallucinations of a Deranged Mind. Horror film. Perversion. That looks like a porno. Embodiment of Evil. That's the modern one. And then The Profane Exhibit. So he appears to have only done one Western.
I'm so
And then he
curious now
did
about
what
that
is
Western.
described as a gothic horror film.
No, we should watch the Western. We should totally see what this guy
I'll-
does
I'll
when
s-
he's
yeah,
not.
I can look. I can look
When
for
he's
it.
not
Okay.
doing horror, what do his characters even look like?
Let's see. Official
Do you know
film
what I mean?
site. Was this ever released? Let's take a look. I'd watch it.
I'm
let's
so
see.
curious.
Yeah, I would. I mean, especially because it's his first film. I'm just like, here it is. Is it available anywhere? Doesn't. Let's
Probably a short. I bet you it's a short.
Is it a short? No, hour and a half. It's
Oh,
a
there you
full
go.
film, but I don't see. I'll look around. It may
All right.
not be. It may not exist.
Well, we should move on.
Anywhere
We
easy.
should move on to the next movie because it's a weird one.
Yeah. Wow. Apparently, by the way, just as a quick
Yeah.
side note, apparently the movie was originally done in '58. In '64, the film was relaunched with an extra dose of sex, with 10 new minutes in a brothel. Apparently, he knew what sold.
The Western?
The Western. They
interesting.
They added a brothel. Okay.
Oh God, that's funny.
Wow. Yes. So then, Lando spun the wheel and landed on a movie that I had actually been talking about earlier on Discord. Somebody had asked me if I knew, because Vinegar Syndrome put out a copy of it, if I had it. And I said, no, but I'll probably get to it at some point because it's on our wheel. And sure enough, what comes up that very eve but Witch from Nepal from 1980, what did I say, 6? Shit. I
And
just
it's
closed
a
that
Italian Fat movie. It's one of his earliest movies, which I didn't.
Yes, which I knew and you did
yeah.
not.
Which I was excited once I saw Italian Fat was in this. I was like, ooh, because I love Italian
We
Fat.
were
It's great.
both looking. I was looking forward to this. You were once you knew he was in it.
Oh well, you had I mean, listen, you should put this movie in that database about dogs because I was amazed that a dog got ripped in half and Joe was okay. But that's because the
Well,
special effects.
as
It's
you
a
said.
Muppet. It's a Muppet. I mean, you can
It's such a
see
clear stuff to have.
there's a dog and then there's a Muppet and he rips the Muppet in
Well,
half. It's like it's very
not
clear.
only that, but the dog when it's real is a German Shepherd, which is a fairly large dog. When it
Yeah.
gets shredded, it looks like it shrinks to poodle size, like a toy
Yeah.
that you would buy in
Yeah.
a toy store. It is comically stupid.
Yeah. So there's that. Other than that, this movie has a weird moral issue at the center of it that makes no fucking sense.
There's one caveat we have to put in front
Yeah.
of this review. I don't know what the morality thing aside, the movie as
Yeah.
a whole. I don't know what our opinion would be had we not watched The Boxer's Omen first. So we have to put that into this.
No, I separate it because I think The Boxer's Omen is a really good movie, right? But I can separate Boxer's Omen from Witch from Nepal. They're very similar. But
they're
Witch from
exceptionally
Nepal
similar.
feels more like a there isn't a lot of action in Witch from Nepal, right? It's all at the end. Like all the really wacky, weird fighting you get at the very the last 10 minutes of the movie, right? Beyond that, the movie is light on combat, and it's like a relationship drama up into that moment, and and that is different because Witch from Nepal. Boxer's Omen. The Boxer's Omen is about a bad guy who basically realizes he's caught up in all this Buddhist shit, and then he has to become a Buddhist to be able to combat the curse that is destroying his brother from another life, right? It doesn't fit him. It's not what he wants to do. It almost derails him. And at every point, it's kind of working against him, right? And there isn't necessarily martial arts, but there's a lot of spiritual fucking fighting going on, right? And that's all through the movie. There's weird shit. There's a little bit of combat, but mostly it's weird magic shit. Whereas this movie, Giant Fat spends a bit of this movie getting his ass kicked by the Panther King. That's what we're going to call him. And then otherwise, he doesn't really fight until the end of the movie. And the majority of this film is Giant Fat being with his girlfriend or having sex with the witch from Nepal. I mean, she's the witch from Nepal, right? She's the
Explosive sex.
Yeah.
We should say.
I mean, yeah, like intense. Right?
This movie, I must say, has come up with the most ostentatious and literally explosive way to strip a woman naked I have ever seen in film.
They blew the whole fucking house up.
Yes, their physical contact blows every piece of glass in his magnificent bachelor pad apart. And
Yeah.
when the dust clears, he looks the same. She is nude, top to bottom.
And they do it on the floor in the rain in the living room. So,
So I'm sorry, I derailed you. You were talking about the morality. Talk about the morality.
oh no, I know. So, I know we have to give we got to give a quick form. We have to give a quick form of this movie, the storylines. You understand it. So essentially, there is a tribe in Nepal. Their leader, his power may be taken by this other spiritual guy we call the Panther King.
One thing I do have to point out that I noticed when I uploaded the video, because I had to check the subtitles to make sure they were lined up.
Yeah.
It says a mysterious cult that believes their leader is chosen by God. So the movie's premise is even
yeah. They believe
very
it.
weird.
I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of weird extra shit we can get into, but we have to get past the elephant in the room first. So essentially, the leader is dying, and he says, you have to find my replacement. You'll know when you find him, right? And so she somehow feels that the gods have chosen Giant Fat. And Giant Fat is an illustrator, or I know he's an ad guy, right? He's an ad illustrator. He's a successful artist. We'll put it like that.
Well, he's a commercial artist. No,
got a great house on a lake, view of the mountains. He's got a girlfriend who I think is studying law.
She's studying law, but she's also a dance teacher.
Oh, he's also a dance teacher, right? And so he has this life. And Giant Fat is not a martial arts guy. He's just a cool, happening dude. And when he goes to Nepal on a trip with his girlfriend, he encounters this spiritual thing, which manifests in a lot of interesting sort of sideways step ways. But he gets his leg hurt, and he sees the witch. He sees her, a couple times, off a balcony.
One quick thing,
like that.
One quick detail we should point out: from all appearances in the beginning, he and the girl, I don't know if she's fiance or what, are on great. There's nothing wrong in the relationship.
There's nothing wrong with the
They
relationship.
are happy together. Go on.
Yeah. So when he then goes back to Hong Kong, and he's in a hospital because his leg is broken, and the the witch basically stowaways on a plane, and comes essentially looking for him, but she gets picked up. She gets picked up by immigration and brought to the mental ward in the hospital because she I guess she's hurt when they find her, but they don't know. They understand she's. Yeah, and they realize they're in the hospital together, and I mean, essentially, she heals him and shows him that he has power. He clearly has a power, So the whole thing about, believing, you can believe whatever you want, but clearly she has the power, and clearly Chow Yun-fat has some kind of power, right? And she awakens this in him. So he has some kind of telekinesis, which I'm telling you, like, they could have done so much more at that fight at the end. But honestly, the Panther King has such a level of telekinesis. That fight shouldn't even have lasted 5 minutes. I'm surprised he didn't just fucking destroy Chow Yun-fat. But anyway, so Chow Yun-fat now has some kind of weird psychic powers. And this woman, the witch, there is a strange... There's a strange simpleton aspect to her. She doesn't understand modern life.
She doesn't understand forks.
Yeah, she's used
Except
to
she can bend them with her mind, so she understands that part.
Yeah, but she lives in the mountains. She tries to start his oven with firewood. Like they're setting her up like a backwoods witch, right?
Yes, and if I may slightly an addendum to your thing about his power, I would say that she arouses several new things within him. One of them being his healing abilities, but we'll get to that.
Okay, we're getting there. Joe is far more irritated about all this than I am.
Yes, this is my coffin Joe. I love the fact that we've watched now 2 movies where Joe is a shitbag in both of them. One, ironically, where he's a fucking artist. So this is just great for me. Go on.
I see, and that's the thing, is that like at one point you were like, I think he's worse than Coffin Joe, and I was like, I don't think he's worse than Coffin Joe, but we'll get there. So anyway, he is being, for the longest time he's kind of pushing the witch away. And he's trying to kind of, she's around, but he's still with his girlfriend. He wants to have somewhat of a normal life. But then eventually she does some kind of weird power thing. And he's like kind of getting to like, this is where the movie makes a mistake, which is that if he had just kept her there, almost like a little sister or like a friend, right? And grown close to her as friends, this movie would have gone in a very different direction. It's the fact that when she tells her to leave, she sets herself on fire, and when he goes to grab her, it ignites some kind of magical event where all the windows on his house blow out, and there's a lot of them. And then suddenly she's naked, and she's attracted to him. And at this point, up to now, he's been pushing her away. But after she blows off all her clothes, and they're standing there, and they've had some kind of weird magic energy thing, he's suddenly fucking down with it. And what follows is this weird sequence of the movie where he's like going on dates with the witch, and he has sex with her, and she's like totally in love with him, and he seems to be totally in love with her, but then he keeps leaving her and going to see his girlfriend. So he's got this whole 2-timing thing going on that makes no fucking sense in the movie. Like, Chow Yun-fat doesn't seem like a bad guy. And he does seem like weirdly conflicted, where he doesn't want to lose his girlfriend, but he doesn't want to lose. You were incensed by all this. We were like, I was as well, in the sense that you were like, really? He's just like, you no point understand what he seems to be doing. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing. And when he finally gets caught, rather than saying, I thought he was going to break up with the girlfriend and he was going to choose the witch, and then that was going to be that was the life he's choosing. He never seems to want to choose, right? And so once the girlfriend dumps him, now all along the Panther King is out there somewhere looking for him. So that's like the impending doom that's coming. But when the Panther King finally shows up and he's managed to kind of weasel his way into like a car ride with his girlfriend and some of her music students, the Panther King shows up, right? He's their car is getting all smashed up. He like summons zombies. All this wild shit's going on, and the witch shows up to save him. And the witch gets basically we did not necessarily think that's how it was going to go, but the witch gets killed or beat up to the point that she's dying by the Panther King, which makes sense. Panther King killed her master. Like, he is really powerful. And in that moment, the girlfriend suddenly doesn't care that Chow Yun-fat's been cheating and is trying to take care of the witch. And like, again, the movie like moves on like it turns on you and you're kind of like, what's going on? And suddenly Chow Yun-fat is forgiven and the witch dies and now he seems to be okay with his girlfriend, and he goes to and angrily he goes to finally fight the Witch King or the Panther King, which again, Panther King should have kicked his ass all over the place. I mean, and he does. It is by and large a losing fight, most of it, and it is until he turns himself into like a human missile at the end that he manages to stab the Panther King in the chest. At which point we get a really lovely head exploding sequence, which I'd actually like to watch that in slow motion because it's quick, but like all the skin just blows off his face and he just explodes. I mean, it reminded me of the head exploding thing from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Chai and Fat goes back to the temple and puts the magic necklace back in the monastery, and he's leaving. And what appears to be all the disciples are bowing to him, and he's there with the girlfriend, and it kind of ends there, so you don't know whether he stays or goes, but I suspect he leaves. I mean, the general tone is that he doesn't want this life. He wants to go back to just being, fun Joe, drawing and being with his girlfriend. So the weirdness in this movie is why does he fuck them both? Why does he seem to not be able to choose between them? And why did the director have the sequence go on so long? I mean, some of these sex sequences are like torrid and they go on. He fucks her in the living room. He fucks her on top of a building under a neon sign. I mean, like there is like a heavy romance going on where he makes like a lightning hearts in the sky for her and shit like that. Right. I wasn't trying to make an argument for it, but I wondered if he was like wondered if he was ensorcelled. I honestly, at one point afterwards, I was thinking about like some way to make logic of this movie, right? Because you agree with me that up until the time that Joe starts fucking both of them, he doesn't seem like a bad character, right?
No, that's the part that's kind of aggravating about it, is that everything about him seems normal. And
I thought, and she tries to kiss him at one point before the exploding sequence.
And I said to you, you'll hear me in the commentary, I said, no, this isn't going romantic. This makes no sense because he's
and he does stop her, right? And when he tells her to go, she sets herself on fire, and when he goes to grab her, there is this massive explosion, right? And then suddenly he's totally into her, right? I mean, like totally into her, right? Except when his girlfriend shows up and shakes him out of it, and then suddenly he wants the girlfriend, right? So I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm not trying to make an excuse to the character, but to some degree, it's like he's ensorcelled. It's like whatever happens in that moment made him just want her. Do you know what I mean? Like, because she says you're the leader. You've been chosen by God. You need to do this, right? Like, it's weird, and I don't necessarily, other than the fact that he changes on a dime after that explosion.
Yeah,
that's the only argument I have to. Otherwise, it's just fucking weird writing. To have him suddenly morally take this like big turn and then want to be with them both, and maybe this is a thing. There's movies like this, like maybe this is a cultural thing that I'm missing, because I haven't really watched a lot of like romantic dramas from Hong Kong. Those weren't really the Hong Kong movies I was watching, right? Because otherwise, yeah, Chai and Fat's character, he comes off kind of douchey. Now, I don't think that he's as morally corrupt as Coffin Joe, but, he comes off kind of douchey. I mean, in the end, he takes revenge for the witch and saves the religious order. And I think that I don't know what happens to Purple, though, his magic sword knife thing. That seems to have disappeared with the Panther King. But he gives back the necklace. It's like, I think he's just a guy who fell in love with two women and was confused as to what to do. That's all I got. Otherwise, he was ensorcelled. Like it's. I don't regret having seen this movie, but it is a weird movie.
Okay. So let's put this asterisk next to this film. It is possible that it was simply not filmed in a way that made things clear. So there may have been a storytelling issue and the intent may have been different, but as you said earlier, we have to take what's on the screen. So in the beginning of the film, we see this woman with the current leader of the cult. And there is no indication given that she has ensorcelled him. Nothing. He's a leader. She's his acolyte.
Yes.
He dispatches her. There is no thing where she's actually pulling the strings and it's inferred that she has some kind of power.
Listen, the ensorcelled thing is just my attempt at a narrative.
No, I understand.
I
understand.
That's
what I'm saying is the reason
it
it can't work for me is because the film never gives us that.
Yeah.
And in the commentary, at one point, I'm saying there's a couple of easy ways they could have made this work, and the morality would have been much clearer, and they chose not to.
Well, don't have sex with her. That would have solved it right there.
The girlfriend are having problems, and she's belittling him, and now a woman comes into his life who says, "You are powerful." I mean, this is kind of the alpha male fantasy, right? This is the incel dream. A beautiful woman rejects me because she just doesn't get me. Other woman shows up and immediately is in my thrall. Oh my God. I mean, this is the juvenile way to make this work, but it would have still had an explanation. That's not done. They appear to be on good terms. They're on a vacation together. She's concerned when he's hurt. He's not irresponsible. Yeah. His job seems to pay. They seem to get along. Yes, everything
they want him. He is in
harmonious till this woman shows up. And as you said, at first he seems to be like, you know what? I don't want any part of this. And the easy way around that is we see the girlfriend with children put the children in danger from the Panther King. Joe has to get involved to save the students of his girlfriend. So he allies with this woman, no romance. And there's your reason why he decides to get involved, even though everything seems hunky-dory until then. Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen, he doesn't need to have sex with her.
This is where what the movie gives us, left turn. In my personal opinion, makes him worse than Coffin Joe, in that Coffin Joe doesn't put on any bullshit airs. He's an idiot, but it's clear he's an idiot. He's a vocal idiot. He projects and proclaims his idiocy to anyone in his fucking immediate vicinity and makes no secret of the fact that he is a shitbag. This Joe, Illustrator Joe, seems to think he can have things both ways. And what's even worse, I didn't even put this together until you brought it up in this show, is you're right. They portray her as somewhat simple. So that makes it even worse that he's taking advantage of somebody who seems childlike.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. And he is honestly, he's her leader. She will do him.
So is it that she is just giving herself up because she thinks that's what he wants as her leader?
The leader wants me.
There's a lot that bothers me about this because Coffin Joe is either mentally ill or just a fucking douchebag, right? So you write him off as jagoff or sick. Yeah. Illustrator Joe appears to be mentally competent. Yeah. And seems to be grounded in reality and not trying to be an adulterer. And yet,
I'm trying to get see if anybody has any commentary on this, or if there's any.
I would. You know what I was about to say,
this, but no one seems to care. In fact, I was reading some descriptions, and the descriptions. Once he starts having an affair with the witch, they completely leave out. There's no mention of the girlfriends in the girlfriend. You know why? In the description.
Because most people are going to say you guys are thinking about this way too much. It's just a movie about a guy fighting a Panther King, and that's fine. If that's all you care about and you don't want to get into the morality, then don't. I'm not trying to tell you have to care.
But that's what it's such. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Correct.
If the movie didn't make it such a big deal.
I
but the
honestly
movie goes
thought
on. I mean, he doesn't just fuck her once.
Yes.
They have sex
and then he brings her home.
Passionately.
He brings her home
in
while
all
the
these
girlfriend
places.
is making him dinner after he cheated on her. It's even worse because here's the other way you can handle this. And some movies do this exact thing. Here's the other way you handle it, right? The girlfriend catches him. says, "You're a scumbag," and then she disappears from the movie, and you never see her again. And you just go, well, I guess they decided not to deal with that, and then he's just with the witch. Right? That's the other way you could do it. No. He goes back to her, he tries to throw his fuck me smile at her, which, granted, is a great move for him, but...
I mean, I think the other problem in this movie is that Chow Yun-fat has such charisma.
Well, no.
That, like, you want him to be the good guy, and when he uses his, like,
yes,
his good guy charm in a bad way, you're like,
what it does is it makes it
like,
even
you feel
worse
betrayed.
because you think he's capitalizing on it. Like, come on, I'm too good looking for you to stay mad at me, baby. It's like, oh no, that's even worse. Well, no, because she's not going to go for it until the kids force her into the car. So really, she was ready to be like, get fucked, man.
Yeah.
And she should have.
Well, you know, what's weird is that, honestly, you don't really know if
no,
they
but you assume they do
back
based on the way this movie
because
operates.
There's but I know that, but this is the thing is you assume. But if we go by the whole thing, is you only have to work with what the movie gives you, right? There's never any dialogue that they're back together. In fact, even at the end, like,
no, but the morality of this movie presents it as,
know,
now that the witch is dead, his path back to her is clear. He can be like, yeah, he'll be like, you know what, it was a one-time thing. Look at my smile, oh baby. All right,
yeah,
make me dinner again. That bothers me now. That this woman cooked him a fucking meal with a turkey, and he walks back in with the fucking witch, and still thinks he's entitled.
Apparently, Vinegar Syndrome couples this with the Seventh Curse. That's their double feature, Witch from Nepal and Seventh Curse, which apparently is another Chow Yun-fat movie.
It looks like it's got more action in this.
Okay, I was trying to see if there was any other information anywhere.
This is one of those movies that I don't hear brought up a lot often in his kind of filmography, and now I know why. Because the other end of it is that even foregoing all the weird writing,
written.
You have to compare this with Boxer's Omen if you've seen it. You can't not make the comparison. And in every aspect, Boxer's Omen is superior. So even putting aside the writing, I would never choose to watch this again. I'd watch The Boxer's Omen probably on a yearly basis around Halloween.
Oh,
I don't either, but I'll never watch it. I will never choose to watch this again.
Yeah. But yeah, you watch it in your catalog of Chow Yun-fat movies, and then you go, okay, that wasn't one of his best. And in fact, I think you said it best, where you said, this is one of the only Chow Yun-fat movies that has made me dislike him.
Yeah. Normally, I like him and his characters, even if they're bad guys. There's something to them. And in this one, no. Yeah. He's really a scumbag. And like I said, the thing that makes it worse for me is that he doesn't even seem to view himself as a bad person for doing this. Like, there's no scene where he, like, is out in the rain and they've both left him and he reckons with it.
He doesn't.
Jesus Christ, what have I done?
And that's why I wonder if culturally I'm missing something. Like, is Hong Kong in this time period horribly misogynistic?
It's probably at least decently misogynistic.
Is this a thing that most men would not have a problem with this, because they'd watch this movie and be like, yeah, Chow Yun-fat bang them both and then get to keep his girlfriend. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, is that...
They probably would... This is probably a dream scenario for people now, some guys. Like, holy shit, man. That woman knew he was cheating and still made him a meal? Shit, he's got it made. He's laying the magic chick and he's got the other one making him dinner.
Well, no, to be fair, she didn't know he was cheating on her when she made him dinner. To be clear, she had already made dinner.
I thought that she suspected or saw something, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Well.
No. She doesn't. There's no knowledge. They were basically fighting over dinner because
he was distracted.
She felt he wasn't paying attention to her. Yeah. And because he was reading a lot of weird books, and he was like, "Yeah, but you're reading." He's like, well, "You're reading, I'm reading." And
then he psychically
and then he
shoots milk in his face while I was busy looking at movie posters behind him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird movie. It's weird that it's written the way it is, and it's almost like you know how you said the Coffin Joe guy made a Western, and they were like, let's put 10 more minutes of sex in this movie. And I almost get the sense that they made this movie and they were like, We need more sex. We need more conflict. Like it feels, you know what? It feels like a Mill movie. It feels like they were just churning out rom-com, mystery, whatever, horror movies, and they were like, you know, he'll have a girlfriend, but then he'll have an affair. Like they were almost trying to like sex it up and make it more torrid. You know, in fact, I wonder if in the original version of there isn't some original version where he doesn't have sex with her. But they were like, yeah, but then you know what? Maybe they realized that's too conventional. Maybe they were looking at it going, oh, if we do that, that's like every other witch movie that's out there. You know, because I mean, yeah. So, no, it's not a great movie. It's. I'm not sad I watched it. It was fun to see Chai and Fat do something different. I thought the effects were funny, and up until the moment, the moral gray area of the character, yeah, you know, you're. It's a fun time. I mean, if you even listen to us up until we get to that point in the movie where he starts banging them both. We were like kind of on his side, and he was having fun, and he looked good in the movie. And then after that point, we are both like, "What's going on?"
The other thing is, like, as you mentioned, we kept waiting for more fighting. You know, because the Panther guy has a fight in the beginning where he dispatches the current leader, and he keeps showing up like he's super badass, and nothing ever happens. He just keeps running around.
Yeah,
and being angry that he just missed them.
I mean, and he's so powerful.
That's a great scene, but it only happens at the end.
Like, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing is that it just feels like.
Again, and I know we're not supposed to compare, but in Boxer's Omen, you get scene after scene of batshit insane new thing happening. And that's what I mean about, you know, you're saying separate them, but it's hard for me to separate them because I saw the better version.
I'm not saying that Boxer's Omen is a better movie.
Well, yeah, but the problem is where this movie is different, it's worse. It's a downgrade.
I know.
Because the morality on the other guy is better than this one.
So listen, you know what? But here's the thing. If you don't care, if you're sitting there going, yeah, I hope Chai and Fat fucks everybody, then watch this movie, you'll enjoy it. You know, it's it is. I do think it's a one and done. I don't need to go back.
Or to be fair,
we've seen it. We're good.
To be fair,
but I don't regret having seen it.
If you're not into gross shit, this is the Disney version of Boxer's Omen.
Oh,
it is, and that is not necessarily even like a joke slamming anybody. Some people don't want to see that stuff.
No, because there's none. Right. None of the gross shit.
This is a far more sanitized version of the same general idea.
This is the more like,
which is, you know,
if you'd rather have like hot and heavy sex scenes rather than people like eating and chewing bad meat and puking it up. Yeah,
this is a much. I mean, literally, there is a sex scene, but there's no real nudity. There's a moderate amount of gore, which is really at the end where the guy's skin tears off. But it's very, very light. So if Boxer's Omen sounded like it was too much, which it is a lot, I mean, there's no way around. It's a lot. My wife would watch this movie. She'd probably have the same problems we do, but she would watch it. She'd exit out of Boxer's Omen 20 minutes in. She'd be like, "No, I'm not watching this. This is fucking too strange and gross for me." And I would understand that. You know, she would never make it to the part where they sew a woman into an alligator and then eat a bunch of it and then take her out, and suddenly she's, you know.
I mean, honestly, I so thought he was going to have sex with that alligator witch.
I did too. Yeah.
I thought something sexual was going to happen. Yeah.
It just seemed like the MO main guy as a gangster has a clearer moral path than our normal guy in this one. Yeah. He started off
hey, I'm a gangster.
Like,
I want to fight and have sex.
I don't want to do anything nice. So I understood where he was. I could get that. Right.
You tried to lie to Buddha.
Did you get your dick wet?
You don't get his
no power for you. No.
He's like, no. Yeah. I didn't.
You betrayed Shiva, motherfucker.
Like, Buddha knows. Buddha sees all. He saw you. You. Buddha saw you having sex because Buddha's a pervert.
Buddha likes to watch, so you're
Buddha watches everybody have sex.
Yeah. So, Yeah,
Pretty much.
to be fair, it's not a bad movie. It has its fun moments.
No, it's just a weird
that's
left turn
the,
midway
that's
through.
The problem.
You know. And what's fucked up is that like I like the witch character and I like Chai and Fat in this and like I just wish it had gone a different way.
Yeah, it just made a couple of bad and or incompetent decisions. And that ultimately holds it back.
Yeah.
Along where again, if there were some really over the top loony fight scenes with good stunt work, we'd probably ignore a lot of this, but there isn't that either.
Yeah, in fact, you have this. Like I said, you have this long romance. But if there had been some fight shit in there as well, then you would have been like, well, you know, he's having sex with two women, but look at those fights.
That's the problem. Is the whole middle of the movie is this weird drama that is morally kind of icky. So that's where it leaves you. So unfortunately, I wouldn't tell people not to watch it. I would just say, hey.
I think if you're a fan of Chai and Fat, I think you should see it. I think it is an interesting Chai and Fat movie.
If you want to check off that you've seen every movie of his, you have if you've seen this. He does have a fucking boss apartment, which I would love if I was single and young.
He's kind of boss everything.
That's what I'm saying. Is he's in such good shape that it makes it sucks that they morally degraded him. Because otherwise, he's gorgeous. He's in great shape. He can draw. He's my mental fucking spirit animal until he becomes a shitbird. You know? He has hair.
Well, you know, going back to that whole thing, it's the id and the superego. You know, his id sees the sexy witch naked in front of him, and listen, that's why you build headcanon sometimes to make movies not so bad. And honestly, I do think the ensorcelled thing makes sense because he suddenly into her so
and if the
hard.
Movie had
it's
taken
kind of
a
unnatural
to give us even a glint of that, I'd say.
Like, he's not into his girlfriend as hard as he suddenly is into the witch. Like, that's what baffles me, is that, like, he's like, no. And then all of a sudden he's like, I love you more than anything. But then, like, you know, he still doesn't want to leave his girlfriend, but he's never into his girlfriend as much as he's into this girl. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, hey, you're a bit ensorcelled, man. It feels like you got, like, you know, there's a weird energy thing that went on between you two. Yeah, and she keeps passing energy into him.
It's not an exaggeration.
Yes,
that's what the movie shows.
That is balls necklace. So,
and
it does look like some gnarled testes.
I don't know. That you settle into a comfortable relationship and anything new and hot comes along, and the temptation for men in the 80s was, oh, fuck it. Maybe. And the Black Panther is the karmic moral catch up to what's happening. But I guess, you know.
Honestly, I wish they had gotten more into that. And it had become more about her trying to train him to fight.
That's the center of the movie.
I thought that's what it was.
He shows up, beats the fuck out of Chow Yun Fat, and he's like, okay, yeah, you have to train me. You have to show me how to do this. And then, you know, realizes how dangerous he is.
Yeah.
You know, or like shows up when he's with the kids. Again, you put the kids in danger, and it's an automatic moral imperative to protect children.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. But, like, it just decided to turn into, like, a weird relationship
and one
drama.
where the main character comes out looking like a fucking shitbag. So.
Pretty much.
But, hey, watch it if you want.
I think it's worth watching if you like Chai and Fat. It's weird.
The nice part about the show in general is there is one unambiguous recommendation or two. The first one is Dragon's Heaven. That's number one on the list. Watch that. Watch it.
Oh, no. Hold on. If you like anime, if you like animated movies,
I was going to say, if you're not into animation, watch Neon, or watch them both.
I would be more skeptical to tell someone to watch.
Well, it is, but it's really short.
Very much an art film.
It's 28 minutes.
In the mood for that. I know that, but even still, you have to be in the mood for an art.
Well, so
I know
would
people
but
shut this off after 5
you've heard us describe all these movies, right?
Yeah.
So you know.
So, Yeah. So if you're in the mood for an art film, Neon is great.
At
If
Midnight
you like
I'll Take
anime,
Your Soul,
Dragon's Heaven
I
is
think
awesome.
only if you could laugh at the absurdity of it. I don't think that's a normal person movie.
I think if you're into movies and you're into movie making and you're into like movie history and things like that, I think you should watch it because it is impressive.
I told you he was not supposed to play that part. But the guy who was supposed to bailed, and he had no time. Two of his film canisters got stolen, which is a big deal because film is expensive. He had 15 canisters, 2 got ripped off. He still managed to make the movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so like I said, it is impressive in that respect. And honestly, it is kind of it's an art film. So again, watch it and see how you feel about it. It's an interesting one and done. It does it does harken back to classic horror movies like Jekyll and Hyde or like Dracula.
And you know what I thought about too?
Yeah, exactly.
I would imagine a lot of the people in this movie were probably from theater, and in theater you have to overact. You have to be big. Yeah. So I wonder if a lot of these were theater people that he knew.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And honestly, Boxers Rebellion. I mean, not Boxers Rebellion. Was Boxers Omen.
Which from Nepal?
Fucking. Jeez, I just the name of them. Wish from Nepal. There you go. My brain just slipped. Wish from Nepal. You know what? It's kind of a nothing movie. It's amusing to watch once, and then you move on. So like in that respect, it's the most nothing of the movies we watched here. And the fact that it has a weird moral turn in the middle makes it kind of like harder. But again, if you don't care, watch it. And if you just want to see Chow Yun-fat be incredibly charismatic for a while, watch it. The fight sequence at the end is fun, but I mean, I think the whole movie, I feel like they could have done more.
Yes.
Or differently.
I agree.
So.
Well, there you have it, everybody.
You go.
I mean, we reviewed a shit ton of stuff. And honestly, there's something for everybody one way or another, I think. This is probably our most broad spectrum media coverage thing, period, in terms of the amount and different stuff we've covered. Jesus. So, whatever you choose to spend your time with, enjoy it, and enjoy your weekend. And that's it. So thanks for listening. And actually, I will say this as a final closing thought. If you have an alternative theory on Neon or Witch from Nepal, which are the two where there's the most, I think, debate on some of the things going on, by all means, let us know. Because especially, let me know. I will share it with Lando.
Email Joe.
Email the show account and let us know because I would be curious. On that note, whatever you choose to do with your weekend, have a good time doing it. And we will talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @OzoneNightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.